everyone, how's it going today? We are here for Donna Adelson's sentencing. Now, on the court docket, we have a file that dropped. It is essentially letters of support for Donna Adelson. Yes, her delusional friends still support her. Maybe a large portion of them didn't watch the trial because they didn't want to watch it. They had faith and belief that Donna was innocent no matter what. I mean, there are just some people out there that are like that. That could be a possibility. But some of the names that I do recognize, for example, the Cunninghams, because they testified at the trial. Now, it's possible that they didn't watch the rest of the trial and they only participated in testifying and that was it. But we do have some support for Donna Adelson. And before we get to the sentencing, I do want to read those letters supporting Donna. Yeah, there are people supporting her. Interesting. Now, we're not going to hear from the Markells, I don't believe, because they've already spoken at the verdict. And it makes sense because they are from Canada. They probably don't want to travel back and forth again for Donna. So they did do their victim impact statement. Phil and Ruth Markell. If you guys haven't listened to it already, it is posted on my YouTube channel. But other than that, we are just going to jump into some of the letters and support for Donna, and they should be starting the sentencing pretty soon. The good thing about this courtroom, I think they start usually pretty promptly, I would say, even though they do go long for their breaks and stuff like that. But they should be starting in about 7 minutes. Hello. Hi, Chris. Hi, Desi. Hello, Senja. Hello. I was about to sleep, but here we are. Oh, wait, Donna's here. Oh, dude, Donna's like shaking. She looks so upset right now. Well, let's see if they start a little bit early. Dude, she's like, she's shaking it. She's crying. There's a footage of her after the verdict was read where she was being transported and she was like shaking. She was like crying. She was like throwing a fit and everything. All right. So, you know what? I need to find my earbuds real quick. Where are my earbuds? Give me a second. Hey, lady, how are you? Hi, Visenya. How's it going? Corgi, I was hoping you could stream this. Of course, we are here. There's also a case management on the docket for Wednesday, I think. I don't know if that's still going to be a thing or what that is. Hi, Sarah. How are you doing today? Hey, Paul. Yes. No, it's all good. I mean, honestly, I haven't really streamed in a bit. So that's probably why we haven't really seen each other as often. There were some videos that came out because I was going to stream them, but I was like, oh, I think it'd be more value if I just made them into videos rather than doing live streams. Okay, let me plug this in really quick. I'm sorry. I thought I had my earbuds in. I forgot the last time I did a live stream, I didn't have my earbuds in. So how do I plug this in? Wait, what happened? I thought she was shaking and crying. Is the judge not in the room anymore? Oh, man. Oh, I do want to show y'all this footage of her being transported. Oh, give me a second. It was on Court TV this morning when I was watching it. Let me see if I can pull it up. Dude, she was having a fit. Now, what do you guys think? Should we have a poll up? Do you think anyone's gonna speak on her behalf from her family members? Are we gonna hear from Wendy? I doubt it. Are we gonna hear from Harvey? I doubt it. Are we gonna hear from Donna? I don't know. Should we do a poll on that? Here, Julie Grant was covering this morning. Let me find the footage of her being transported. Let's see. It is... Where is it? Oh, they had Ben Chu. You could find it. Oh my gosh, this is a long one. They had their guest speakers. Oh, here it is. I think they pulled it from a different YouTube channel, so I will give them a shout out when it comes up.
She knows what the final result is. She's not happy. Let's watch.
This is from Untold True Crime Files. if y'all can hear, but she's heaving pretty loudly. She's like heaving. She's upset.
117 Central Patrol. Don't stick it up inside slide, please.
Oh, she's not taking it well at all.
Oh, she's not. Man, I don't know, man. Something tells me that all of a sudden she's gonna have some sort of medical thing come up where she's like, oh, you know, oh gosh, I have like a medical thing. Please transport me to a different wing. Dude, good luck, Donna. She was complaining about the food. She was complaining about not getting enough exercise. She was complaining about the bed, the noise, and her being bullied. Although some of you guys don't really believe that. I don't know. Good luck in prison. All right, so I'm going to create a poll. Will anyone from the Adelsons, Harvey, Donna, I don't think Charlie will, but Harvey, Donna, Wendy, I'll do those three. Speak today. How about that? We're starting a poll. Let me know what you guys think. Why did I immediately smile? I don't know, Lily. I don't know. Hey, More TV, thank you so much for the resub. Tier 2. Thank you so much for your support. How are you? You thought it was some kind of a Halloween display. I doubt Wendy will go back to Florida without a subpoena. Yeah, I think Wendy's in Colorado right now, I think. Or who knows where she is. Maybe she's in Vietnam, right? It doesn't seem genuine. She's looking up at them to check their expressions, in my opinion. It's prison. What does she expect? Well, she probably expected not to get convicted, surprisingly. Today's the day when the D will finally realize nobody likes, supports, or believes her. She's friendless, a pariah. Oh, Donna Adelson. Sorry, I read that as the district attorney. Hey, Brian, how are you doing today? Well, while we wait for... Oh, wait, the judge is here. Because I was going to read the letters of support for Donna Adelson. Oh, here comes Donna. Look at her getting up. Oh, I might need to boost the audio. Give me a second. All right. I mean, her demeanor is very different. This is what the stream started with. I think it was right around... Where was it when she came in? Right here. This is what we started with today. Very upset. Very emotional. I don't know who's out there. The judge is in there. Obviously no jury. But very sad, very upset. And then... Oh, wait, Harvey's there. Okay, Harvey's there. Is that Donna's friend? Please zoom out a little bit. I can't see who else is in there. Oh, Harvey's there. Seems like Donna's calmed down. No reaction. Harvey's there. Donna. Waiting for the judge to come in. All right, here comes the judge. Do you think she has anything to say to the judge? Remember Sarah Boone? Remember how pissed she was? And I'm pretty sure Mr. Owens told Sarah Boone to, hey, Sarah, there's some shit that you wrote in here. Don't say it out loud. And I think she kind of listened because she wrote that whole Kinutsuki thing with the Japanese, you know, how potteries break and you put things together back to gold and they become something new and different, right? Referring to herself, obviously. Now, afterwards, she released a full version of the letter and it was very scathing. She was basically like, fuck you guys. How dare you not believe me?
Is your Zoom open or are you working on that?
I'm signing into the computer right now.
Georgia, I hear you, Georgia. I wonder what Georgia's wearing today. Apparently there's like the red suit that she likes to wear, I think, in closing. Is there a special suit that she normally wears for sentencing? Does anyone know? Yeah, it's my Walla. It's a giant one. And the great thing about this, it fits in a cup holder. That's why I like it. Well, while we are waiting, should I read some of the letters in support for Donna Adelson? We can do that. All right, so I think the judge is just getting some stuff ready. Let me just read this really quick. It's not too long. Let me see where it is. Acrobat. Window capture. All right, so we have some letters of support for Donna Adelson. 7 letters. And the name that I recognize, Annie Cunningham and Ron Gutterson, because they testified at her trial. Ron Ellis, I don't think I recognize them. Let's start with whoever this person is. Ruth Rosenberg. I immigrated to the USA from Israel when I was 1 month shy of age 12. I lived in Israel in a town of 5,000 inhabitants where my family knew almost everyone and came to New York City, Queens, with a population of close to 8 million residents. To say it was a culture shock is an understatement. I didn't speak any English and physically looked like an underdeveloped child in comparison to the American girls my age. I entered the 7th grade in September not knowing any English, the stranger in school. For several months, I sat by myself at lunchtime in the cafeteria, staring at the table next to where Donna and her group of friends were conversing, laughing, and having a nice time. One day, Donna walked over to my table and asked me if I would like to join them. And of course, I said, yes, please. That kind gesture started a 62-plus-year-old friendship that she invited me. That kind gesture started a 62-plus-year friendship. She invited me to her house to meet her family, and over time, we became like sisters. I can recall several instances where Donna helped me obtain a job so I could help my parents financially. She introduced me to my family in a bungalow colony in the Catskills who needed a mother's help for their daughters in the summer of '66. The money I earned helped my parents pay for the closing costs of their house. The following summer, she got me a job as a counselor at Camp Allegra in the Berkshires. When I had decided on a career path, I consulted with Harvey and Donna about applying to dental school as my college advisor had recommended. Later that year, I was chosen to be maid of honor at their wedding. We remained close friends. Why did you testify? Was your testimony not relevant at all? Do you think she's going to speak at the victim impact statement? Or sorry, not the victim impact statement, but do you think she's going to speak for Donna? I know we have a letter here. We remained close friends throughout the years, even though we lived more than 1,000 miles apart. Oh, that's probably why. Our families visited each other periodically, making sure that our children and grandchildren got to know each other. We attended life cycle events at our children, bar mitzvah, bat mitzvahs, weddings, special birthdays, etc., and now our grandchildren's. Donna has always been kind-hearted, generous, loving, caring. She's one of my best friends. I will forever remember and appreciate how much she helped me with English while I helped her with math in Parsons Junior High School, and remained loyal. That's the key word right there. Loyal throughout these 62 plus years. The situation she is today is unimaginable to me. That is not the person I know and love. Well, it's because you don't think you know her as well as you think you do. Maybe that's why. Oh man, the loyalty there. Listen, if I had a friend or someone that I was really close to for 60 plus years and I found out that they hired someone to murder someone, wouldn't that kind of be the reason why you would cut ties to them? Oh boy. All right, here's the next one by Marion Schaffman. We have known Donna for 50 years, and although we live apart and have seen her over the years, we wanted to share with you our impressions. Oh, let me zoom in case anyone wants to kind of read with me. We want to share with you our impressions of the lovely person we have known. Donna has always been a loving, kind mother and wife, and also an exemplary daughter to her parents who often stayed with her family. We have never heard her utter a negative word about anyone, okay, and had tremendous pride in every member of her family. She retained many friends from her childhood and developed long, satisfying friendships with the new people she met through each stage of her life. Donna was always intelligent, charismatic, sensitive to everyone. She always listened to anyone's problems and offered a helping hand when she could. Most notably, her genuine concern over our and others' health issues was truly appreciated. As you can see, it is very difficult for us to view her as anybody other than sweet, caring person we knew. Yeah, that seems pretty obvious here. Here's the thing, though. You might get a different side of a person. There's always another side that you might not know about, right? Especially if that person is not getting their way. If they're not getting their way, some people turn into demons. Here's another one from a Jessica. I'm writing this letter to express my personal experiences and knowledge of Donna Adelson's character. Donna and I share a beloved grandson, Roman Harvey. Oh, this must be... That's right, Charlie's... I don't know if they're married. Maybe baby mama's mother. Donna and I share a beloved grandson, Roman Harvey Adelson. born in 2017. My first memory of Donna is a video made and shared on Mother's Day 2017. Charlie Adelson surprised his mom with the news of he and my daughter Brianna and we're expecting a baby. It warmed my heart to watch Donna's genuine excitement and happiness caught on video. Our families began spending time together as events and celebrations took place. I recall Donna being warm and welcoming. It's great that they have a great relationship, but what about the Markells, right? They're kind of like in the similar family relation where, well, she got the benefit of being able to share a grandchild with Donna, but the Markells were not able to share that benefit. What would happen? What about if Charlie and the woman, what if they, got divorced and the woman didn't want Charlie in the lives anymore? What do you think Donna would do, right? Would Donna have hired someone to kill Charlie's ex and Charlie's parents or, do something crazy like that? I don't know. It's just like, it's a little weird to me. It warmed my heart to watch Donna's genuine excitement and happiness caught on video. Our families began spending time together as events and celebrations took place. I recall Donna being warm and welcoming. As I got to know her more, there was no doubt in my mind that she was a loving, devoted wife, mother, and grandmother. Maybe a little too devoted. Roman's birth was a scheduled cesarean section on December 5th. On that day, I was overcome with mixed emotions of excitement and fear. As family awaited Roman's birth at the hospital during the unnerving procedure, Donna was affectionate, compassionate, and I was visibly anxious and emotional. I will always remember how she reassured and calmed me that day. We shared tears of joys and hugs when a beautiful, healthy boy came into this room. Donna was caring and supportive of Bree as a new mom. I have many fond memories of time spent with the Adelsons. Although Charlie and Bree were no longer a couple beyond Roman's first year, we all remained close. Donna has been kind, thoughtful, loving, and generous. Thank you, sincerely, for taking the time to read this letter. All right, so we got like about 3 or 4 more. I'm pretty sure they might take some court breaks, and we'll get back to there when they do. Back to the judge. All right, so they're just shuffling papers right now.
Is there anyone that is going to be attending on behalf of the state as well?
Yes, Your Honor. The Markel family will be appearing by Zoom, but they're relying on their statements previously made.
Oh, is Sarah Dugan there? I don't see Sarah Dugan today. Like, I get wanting to write a letter to support someone that you love and know, grew up with, that you're friends with, families with, but like, oh man. I think it really depends on what they're being charged with, If it was like being charged with theft, people can change, right? But murder, that's like a whole different game. Hey, Harvey's breathing right there.
Judge, the 647 number belongs to Mrs.
You can tell her to rejoin.
Oh, I think they're just waiting for people to join the Zoom in order to speak.
We're here this afternoon for final disposition and sentencing in case number 2023 CF 3226, State versus Donna Adelson. Parties can make their appearances.
Georgia Kappelman for the state.
Joshua Zahn for the defense.
Jackie Fulford on behalf of Mrs. Adelson.
Have the parties received their copies of the pre-sentence investigation report?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Judge.
Are there any objections that either party wishes to make to the pre-sentence investigation report?
No, sir.
There are corrections that would need to be made, Judge.
What are the corrections?
Would you like me to stay here at the length?
Stand there.
Oh, are we going to hear from someone that evaluated Donna and then maybe they'll explain why Donna is the way that she is, maybe? I don't know. Hey, Heather, how are you doing today? Hi, Go Lucky.
On page 1, they have the date of arrest as November 20th, 2023. And she was actually arrested on November the 13th of 2023.
I will notate. Ms. Kappelman, is there any
No,
challenge
sir.
to those?
No, sir.
I will notate the copy then that will be filed with the clerk as November 13th of 2023. Go ahead.
On page number 5, there are several. The first place, near the top, it says wage salary, and this was supposed to be her current employment that she had, and it said $1,000. She did not have employment where she made $1,000. She was not receiving any salaried income, so that should be 0.
Ms. Kappelman, do you wish to be heard concerning those?
No, Your Honor.
So again, I will notate the wage salary as $0.00.
Thank you, Judge. The next, underneath there, it says the number of jobs in the past 2 years, 1. She has had no job. She's been employed the majority of the 2 years.
Which part of page 5 are you referring to?
Well, that's on page 5, right underneath the wage.
So no jobs, no employment.
Correct, that should be 0.
Ms. Kappelman, do you wish to be heard?
No, sir.
Notate that there has not been any employment or 0. Go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. Directly under there, it says months unemployed in the past 2 years, 0, and she's been unemployed for 2 years.
Well,
Let me turn the captions
so
on.
you're asking for that to be 24 months.
Hopefully the captions work.
Correct.
Go ahead.
There are 2 typographical errors in the remarks section. The second line from the top of the remarks says history, comma, she. I believe that's supposed to say the defendant.
Give me 1 moment, I'm finding it.
I thought the
You said
purple
history
was
is the first.
I thought the purple was the color that she was wearing when she was in jail. Is she not in prison yet?
We're leading into the
History is
correction.
right next to the word she. You see that's on the second line down. It says remarks, and then the word right under there on my copy says history, comma, she.
Yes.
It should be the.
Ms. Kappelman,
No objection.
go ahead.
And then in the same paragraph, 4 lines down to the far right, it said who had fallen in. That should be ill, I-L-L.
No objection.
Go ahead, Ms. Wolford.
Yes, sir. Going down under the financial status to where it says estimated total debts, in the second line, it says a second mortgage was taken out to pay for their home. That should say legal expenses, not home.
No objection.
We're making a lot of corrections here. Interesting. I wonder how much the legal expenses were. Well, I guess they also had to pay for Dan Rashbaum and help out Charlie.
Go ahead, Ms. Wolford.
Yes, sir. The same section where it states remarks, 3 lines down, it says husband's dental practice. That's incorrect. The dental practice was not providing income prior to her arrest. She was only receiving Social Security assistance.
So you're just asking husband's dental practice to be scratched through.
That's correct. The only income was, they listed Social Security, but they listed both.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving in Canada.
Well, anything else?
On page 7, Your Honor, about halfway down the page, it has the remarks section. And if you go 1, 2, 3 lines from the bottom where it's listing grandchildren, on the right, it has a child's name, 14, and then it says a female, 7. That's actually a male.
No objection.
Right. Any other objections?
Not from the defense.
The court has reviewed the PSI report, and at this time I will direct the clerk to file it as a part of the record. Ms. Kappelman, do you have any other witnesses or evidence that you wish to present as a part of your presentation today?
I have some documentation regarding cost of prosecution, Judge. Would you like that at this time?
Yes.
The state has put together a summary page and a thumb drive. We are requesting $723,123.68 in restitution. Defense advised that they want supporting documentation regarding.
Did you say 700,000? I don't know. The captions didn't pop up for that.
This request, which is contained
I think so.
on this thumb drive. They're just receiving it today. So have not had an opportunity to review it. I think at this time the parties are in agreement to ask Your Honor to order cost of prosecution and reserve regarding the amount, and we'll see if we can reach an agreement regarding the amount.
Very well.
So that's one item that's in dispute for today. Another issue, Judge, is the score sheet. I prepared 2 score sheets. May I
Donna looks a little confused and a little bit irked about this.
again?
You may.
First includes death points, bringing the lowest permissible prison sentence in months to 172.5. The second does not include the death points, bringing the lowest permissible prison sentence in months to 82.5. It was brought to my attention yesterday that the defense objects to the inclusion of the death points. The limited research that I've had an opportunity to do suggests that they should be included if the death was a direct result of the crime. I believe it was. The defense wants to argue otherwise, so whichever score sheet your honor chooses to go with, they're both provided there for you. The state is requesting, are you ready for me to argue what I want for sentence? Okay.
Go ahead.
Obviously, life on count 1, Judge. We would ask for 30 years consecutive to count 1 on count 2, and 30 years concurrent to count 2, but also consecutive to count 1 on count 3.
Hey,
I do
Rain.
not have any additional testimony or other evidence to provide, Your Honor.
We've had this issue of the death points being attached to the non-homicide offenses come up in other cases. Certainly the death points would attach if there were an offense that were being scored, but first-degree murder is not being scored on the score sheet. What would be the basis, Ms. Cattleman?
So the death resulted from the conspiracy. It wasn't just a conspiracy without a death. It was a conspiracy that directly resulted in a death, hence the death points are appropriate.
What is the defense's argument concerning the score sheet?
I'll do my best, Your Honor, dealing with the weather for the last week or so. It's the same argument that was made on behalf of Mr. Dr. Adelson post-conviction. Your Honor granted the correction of the score sheet. Solicitation and conspiracy do not require an actual death. And I'll just rely on the same cases that were relied on by Dr. Adelson. State versus Johnson, 561 Southern 2nd, 1321. The crime, quote from that case, the crime of solicitation is completed when the actor, with intent to do so, has enticed or encouraged another to commit a crime. The crime need not be completed.
I think this is the first time I've heard of a death score sheet. I don't think I've ever heard of that before.
And then in Becky v. State, 423 Southern 2nd, 417, second DCA, crime of conspiracy consists of 2 necessary elements: an agreement, 1, and 2, an intention to commit the offense. Once the intent is formed and the agreement is made, the conspiracy is complete. Just like Your Honor did in Charlie Adelson's case, by order not opposed by the Attorney General's office. I believe that order is dated January 24, 2025. Your Honor agreed with that position and ordered the state to prepare a corrected score sheet of the death points.
Well, Ms. Kettleman, my memory of this is in line with the defense position. Certainly, if the state wishes to take any of
This is actually quite interesting. I wish I knew about this beforehand so I could have done more research about it. There's a score sheet point system. The system plays a significant role in determining the severity of penalties an individual may face upon conviction. Wow. Yeah, they like have a score sheet. They tally it up. And depending on what points you get or like what bracket you're in, wow. For instance, an individual with a high number of points may be ineligible for certain rehabilitative programs that could reduce jail time or provide opportunities for probation. I mean, Donna doesn't. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, yeah, Donna wouldn't be able to get into that because she's facing life in prison. No probation for you, ma'am.
appeal concerning the score sheet. That is your choice.
Understood, Judge.
Death points will not be added to the score sheet that is signed by the court. Is the defense ready to proceed with its presentation?
Yes, Judge.
You may proceed.
Thank you. Would you like me here or at the podium?
You may remain at the table, or you can come to the lectern, whichever.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Hey, Joe.
I guess we would start with the witnesses that we have. The one who's standing by on Zoom is Dr. Ben Graber, who would like to make a statement on behalf of Mrs. Adelson.
Dr. Graber, if you at this time can please turn on your microphone. Dr. Graber, if you can raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're going to provide today will be the truth? I believe you have a volume problem, Dr. Graber. I can see your lips moving, but I can't hear you.
Joe, thank you so much for the resub. 49 months. Hello. Dr. Graver, are you there?
I guess before you get started, 2, 3 for me so I can test this audio.
Well, it's a good thing we're behind. We can just forward through this. All right, they're testing audio right now.
Unmuted. It is. Let me swear you in again, sir. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony
Hey, Paul, have fun working.
you will give today will be the truth?
I do.
You can lower your head. If you're examining the witness, or is he reading a statement?
He's going to present a statement, Judge.
Dr. Graber, you may proceed at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate the opportunity to come and speak on behalf of Donna Adelson. If I can, let me just brief description of who I am, my background. I've been a friend of the Adelson family since 1979. First 20 years I knew them, we were actively engaged in many activities. The last 20 years, I haven't seen them that much until this trial became apparent to me. And my background is I'm a medical doctor practicing obstetrics and gynecology, 45 years here in Florida. I was also a state legislature from 1988 to 96, representing Coral Springs and parts of Broward County. I was a county commissioner in Broward County and mayor of Broward County for 1 year in 2006.
Wait, so he just said that, yes, he was friends with the Adelson since 1979. However, in the last 20 years, they didn't really see each other much until the trial started happening. So you don't know how Donna was like in the past 20 years. Because Dan Markel and Wendy was definitely within the past 20 years.
I'm also a professor at the University of Florida Medical School and the University of Miami Medical School in clinical OB/GYN. And I'm here to speak today on behalf of Donna Adelson, the person I've known for a great deal of time. Hi Donna, just want to say hi. I'm sorry I can't be there to hug you. And I'm sorry we didn't get to have that dinner after your trial was over. But I'm here to, on your behalf, to let you know that you have friends, and I believe in you. Let me say that.
But you just said that you weren't close to her within the past 20 years. People can change.
I never thought we'd be here at this situation when I first met you. It was a total shock to me and to our families. And it's a tragedy for me to have to be here to talk about this. I feel very bad for your family, for the Markel family, for the tragedy everyone's experiencing. To me, I've been following this for 2 years. It appears to be a dissolution of two families. My background is similar in many ways to both families. Like Ruth Markel, I'm the son of Holocaust survivors. I actually was born in Germany, displaced person.
Oh, he said Holocaust survivors too.
Came to the United States at the age of 18 months. So like the boys, Lincoln and Benjamin, I don't have a lot of recollection from the first beginnings of my time in the United States, where they don't have the recollection of their father, which is very sad to me. But they do have families, and I had family. And we have to learn a great deal from our tragedies how to come back into life. My distress is not just for Donna and the Adelsons, but for the Markels as well, and especially for 3 generations of each family, which I see in tragic downward swing. And yet, I did meet Lincoln and Benjamin at the bar mitzvah last year. I got to meet those 2 boys, wonderful boys. Unfortunately, I never got to meet Dan Markel, but I have read many of his articles. Very impressive, very talented man, who makes some very good points about the law and about compassion in the law, which he felt could be improved. And I agree with that. So part of what I'd like to say today is basically that I do believe that Donna is a victim of natural circumstance, but has been actively exploited by parties involved in this case. I believe she was exploited by her son. Knowing Donna, who was the youngest child in her family, knowing her mother, and how close she was with her mother.
This guy's a Holocaust survivor and it's okay with Donna talking about dressing the kids up as Nazis. Hey man, sometimes people look the other way when there's people that they've been loyal to for many years. But he essentially was like saying that, yeah, it's sad that the kids didn't really get to know their father, but you know, they had other family members.
Understanding their love and need for family, it makes no sense to me that she would pursue an activity that will destroy 2 families like it has. However, having known her son and some of his issues, I believe, Donna, in her own naive way, trying to be a loving mother, subdued by guilt, by silence, by denial, and perhaps even active exploitation, and used for activities she had no part of. So I believe she's innocent on all 3 counts, even though she was found guilty on all 3 counts. Part of my understanding is also that...
I wonder if he thinks that Charlie did it then. That it was Charlie who did it, and then Charlie was the one who dragged Donna into this.
The victims here are both families. And to watch the hate and distress and the vengeance I see, it's a terrible thing to look at. As Holocaust survivors, you think we would understand that how damaging it is to families. I would have to say, my background, I grew up in the Bronx, went to the public school system. I actually was at Queens College when Donna was there. I didn't know her. She graduated a year after I did. My wife Sandy graduated from Queens College as well. In Coral Springs, we met up after being there a while. New, young families, professionals trying to build a life, having children, building a community, which we did. So to see this situation occur, to me, is devastating in many aspects. As a legislator, I can tell you that we see things in law. Even though I'm a doctor and I was chairman of healthcare, I was a Democrat majority leader, and I sat on the Judiciary Committee for 2 years. I understand the laws. Even wrote some of the sentencing guidelines and participated in passing them at that time. And what I learned over the years is that I had the privilege of passing many laws, because I was a leader and was able to work both sides. And so many of my laws exist in the books.
I don't think he's mentioned whether or not he's watched the trial, right?
I get calls from judges periodically asking me about the intent of the law, and I wrote it because they have a case, and it's come down to what did you intend to happen from this law? And they would ask my opinion, and they would use that information. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the intent of the judicial guidelines for sentencing. I think the life without parole is a very harsh sentence.
It is.
And that was not the intent, was to punish domestic cases with that, but to hit drug dealers and organized crime and dangerous to the public. But I think it's been switched over to be used in conspiracy theories against the average citizen, which is not the intent of the law, in my opinion. Second of all, I think that it's unfortunate.
Wait, life with no parole has now been used in cases with conspiracy theories against the average citizen, aka Donna. So he thinks Donna is being convicted because of conspiracy theories that are unfounded. So does he not believe in the jury, the judicial system? I'm very confused over here.
Second of all, I think that it's unfortunate that this case has gone into so many new victims. And we've already, you have 4 victims who have been found guilty of murder. 2 have committed the murder, maybe 1. The others are conspiracy theories. And I would believe that I would suggest that needs to be reviewed by the legislature. That's my opinion. Now, in this case...
Dr. Graber, before you continue, is this being offered as...
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Judge. Oh, gosh. He's like, Judge is like, sir, what's going on here? Are you trying to offer some legal opinions here, or what's happening?
It needs to be reviewed by the legislature. That's my opinion. Now, in this case...
Dr. Graber, before you continue, is this being offered as character? Because he is not an expert on the law.
It's character, Judge.
Very well. You may continue, Doctor.
Yes, that's my opinion from my background. It's not, I'm not giving a professional opinion. I'm giving my personal opinion from experience. What I'm asking the court today is, to me, the court, the judicial system, the power of the judicial system is in the judge. And it is the judge who is the presenter of a safety net for the public. To show some compassion when the cold written law, with every box checked off, shows no compassion Where does the compassion come from? It should come from the judge, it should come from the jury.
Compassion. Yes. If Donna decides to come out and apologize and actually own up to what she did, but she still hasn't. She hasn't. She still says that she's innocent and that she was dragged into this. And then they came up with this whole story about how she didn't know about everything until Charlie told her about it. And that's why she started paying Catherine McManwell, even though the text messages afterwards don't really reflect that. But yeah, okay. Why are we talking about compassion when she hasn't shown any compassion towards anyone else here?
And I think that maybe that's something we have to consider. So at this point, what I'm saying is that I believe Donna Adelson is a 5-star mother, did everything she could do for her kids, for her family, for her community. She has no bad intentions.
Yeah, you got that part right. She did everything she could for her kids, her kids. She did everything she could for Wendy, even if it meant murdering someone.
She's not a leader, she's a baby in her family. She's always been a follower. Yes, she makes noise and she complains, but that's not her behavior. This is not her profile. So I understand that nothing can be changed, but I want it on record that I believe.
Wait, so he was like, yes, she complains, so that's normal?
So at this point,
it's a little bit muffled, so it's a bit hard to hear.
what I'm saying is that I believe Donna Adelson is a 5-star mother, did everything she could do for her kids, for her family, for her community. She has no bad intentions. She's not a leader, she's a baby in her family. She's always been a follower. Yes, she makes noise and she complains, but that's not her behavior. This is not her profile. So I understand that nothing can be changed, but I want it on record that I believe she is innocent of these 3 counts, and we believe her. With that, I would have to say, sometimes bad things happen to good people, and I think this is one of those cases. It's unfortunate. For the families, I would ask they.
So all of the complaints and all the shit that she wrote about Dan Markel, yeah, they're just complaints. They're just natural complaints. Yeah, there's no follow through with any of that.
Think about the 2 boys. Dad is not here, but a piece of him is here, and those 2 boys. And their future, they're both teenagers now. Their future depends a lot on what's going on here, and how they're going to be perceived in the future, and how they will interpret the future based on this. So I think it's time for some compassion, some understanding, some forgiving. Perhaps it's time to take a step back and let everyone heal from this process. With that, I say to you, Donna, Sandy and I love you, we support you and the family, and we hope you the best. God bless you. And Your Honor, thank you for letting me speak.
You can't forgive and give people compassion if they haven't done anything to earn it. I'm just so sorry. You can't. And the fact that he gave her like a 5-star Yelp review saying that like she was a 5-star mother, did everything for her family and her kids, she ruined the fucking family. I can't believe anything this guy says. How do you not believe that she ruined the family? Obviously, she ruined Charlie's life. What's happening with him? He's incarcerated, right? Wendy had to run away all the way to fucking who knows what state she's in with her 2 kids. And the 2 kids their lives are probably ruined too, because not only did they lose their father at a very young age, but now that you're in your teenage, you're dealing with this whole family drama that's being aired out to the world about what a shitty grandmother your grandmother was, right? And how people are looking at your mom now. Like that's just, it ruins their lives. And then look at Charlie's kids, right? Or Charlie's kid. No father in their life. I don't understand how he could give her a 5-star review. She's ruined so many lives. And then him just saying that, minimizing Donna's text messages, emails. Oh yeah, that's just her complaints. It's natural behavior. It could be natural behavior. People do complain, yes. But there are people that take it a step further.
Defense have an examination for the witness.
No, Judge.
Does the state have an examination for the witness?
No, sir.
I didn't know you can examine witnesses. Did they do that for the Sarah Boone sentencing? That's kind of interesting.
Dr. Graber, you can remain on the Zoom. I would just ask you to mute yourself at this point.
Thank you.
Corky, that doesn't matter. She was great 20 years ago.
Defense have any other witnesses to present or evidence?
Yes, Judge, we have Rick Chagrin, who's present, who would like to make a brief statement.
Oh, I think he testified at the trial. Yeah, he had like kind of like a dickish aura. When he was doing direct examination, he was trying to be really charming, but then in cross-examination, poof, that dickish aura came out.
Right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm that you may direct the witness or you may give a statement?
If you could state your full name, please.
My name is Richard Gordon Chagrin.
And have you prepared a statement here today?
Yes, I have.
Okay, you can give that to the court at this time.
This is on behalf of myself and my wife, Susan Brotman, an attorney at law. We have known Donna Adelson for over 35 years. She's been
Oh, that's right. He's the guy that helped book the one-way ticket. He was like, oh, the one-way ticket was way better because, it's cheaper, and hopefully they could book the other way later on. Yeah, you're the one-way ticket guy. Okay, we know you.
a dear friend and travel companion, and we are still in shock of her current circumstances.
Are
We
you?
know her to be a loving parent, wife, and grandparent. We stand behind her claim of innocence. We feel the trial was held in a county where there's been a lot of bad and inaccurate negative publicity, therefore not allowing a fair trial. We contend if a change of venue was granted, she would have been found not guilty. We are hopeful she will be relocated to South Florida, where
The publicity was bad and negative because what Donna did was bad and negative. I don't know if I agree with the inaccurate part, though.
she can pursue all legal remedies available. Thank you very much for your consideration.
That's it? Okay. I thought he would come from the heart and soul a little bit more, talk about their memories together. Is he the one that's part of the gourmet meal club? I don't know if it was him or someone. There was someone that testified for Donna. I was like, oh yeah, we're part of the gourmet meal club, We have someone come in and cook the meals, and it's really cool.
These are character statements or quibbling about the evidence and the rulings? The full
Here, Judge, they're here.
Jackie, shut up. You're just saying that, Jackie. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm just kidding. We'll be nice to Jackie today.
Here to talk about their friendship and time. Thank you.
Any witness examination for Mr. Chagrin?
Scott.
No, Your Honor.
You may be seated. Any other witnesses?
We did provide to the court, if you received your copy, Judge, some very short letters that were written as character support on behalf of Mrs. Adelson, if I may go through those at this time.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Oh, she's going to read the letters. Okay, those are the letters that I was reading earlier.
The first letter that was submitted to the court was by Annie Cunningham and Ronald Gutterson, who testified at trial.
They did.
They say, we are writing this letter to restate our knowledge and feelings regarding Donna Adelson. We have known Donna since 2009 and consider her to be our dearest friend. Donna is a kind, caring, loving person. She was always concerned with the welfare of others. She is not the monster portrayed by the media. Donna is incapable of threatening or harming anyone. Donna is almost 76 years old and in frail health after almost 2 years of incarceration. We will always believe her to be innocent and ask the court to take these factors into consideration when deciding Donna's sentence.
You say she's in feral health? Interesting.
Next, we submitted to the court was one of her longtime friends, Ruth Rosenberg, who wrote, I immigrated to the USA from Israel when I was 1 month shy of 12. I lived in Israel in a town of 5,000 inhabitants where my family knew.
Sorry, I hate to interrupt, Jackie. Sometimes the judges in sentencing, they'll take these letters in consideration and then they won't read it out loud to the court. So that's why I thought he would do that here. But no, she's reading it.
Almost everyone, and came to New York City, Queens, with a population of close to 8 million residents. To say it was a culture shock is an understatement. I didn't speak any English and physically.
Oh, frail health. I heard feral health too, and then also the subtitles said the same thing. I was like, oh, okay, maybe that word could be used in multiple different ways.
Looked like an underdeveloped child in comparison to the American girls my age. I entered the 7th grade in September, not knowing any English, the quote stranger in school. For several months, I sat by myself at lunchtime in the cafeteria, staring at the next table, where Donna and a group of her friends were conversing, laughing, and having a nice time. One day, Donna walked over to my table and asked me if I would like to join them, and of course I said yes, please. That kind gesture started a 62-plus year friendship. She invited me to her house to meet her family, and over time we became like sisters. I can recall several instances where Donna helped me obtain a job so I can help my parents financially. She introduced me to a family in a bungalow colony in the Catskills who needed a mother's helper for their daughters in the summer of '66. The money I earned helped my parents pay for the closing costs on their house. The following summer, she got me a job as a counselor at Camp Allegra in the Berkshires. When I had to decide on a career path, I consulted with Harvey and Donna about applying to dental school as my college advisor had recommended. Later that year, I was chosen to be the maid of honor at their wedding. We remained close friends throughout the years, even though we lived more than 1,000 miles apart. Our families visited each other periodically, making sure that our children and grandchildren got to know each other. We attended life cycle events of our children, bat and bar mitzvahs, weddings, special birthdays, etc. And now our grandchildren's. Donna has always been a kind-hearted, generous, loving, and caring. She is one of my best friends, and I will forever remember and appreciate how she helped me with English while I helped her with math in Parsons Junior High School, and remained loyal through these 62-plus years. The situation she is in today is unimaginable to me. That is not the person I know and love. We also submitted a letter from Ron Ellis to the court. My name is Ron Ellis, and I have had the privilege of knowing Donna Adelson for more than 30 years. I am writing to you in hope of offering some perspective on the woman I have come to know so well over the course of our long friendship. Donna has been a steady and caring presence in my life. When my stepson passed away 11 years ago at the age of 34, Donna was there for me in ways I will never forget. She sat with me in my grief, listened when I needed to talk, and offered comfort when I felt overwhelmed. That kindness and empathy is the Donna I know. Someone who shows up for her friends and offers strength in their darkest moments. Over the years, I have seen Donna's compassion extend beyond just me. She has been a devoted mother, a loyal friend, and someone who consistently tried to bring warmth and generosity to those around her. I understand fully the gravity of the situation before the court, but I hope that when you consider Donna's sentence, you will also weigh the years of kindness, care, and humanity she has shown to others. I believe that Donna still has the ability to contribute positively, even under these circumstances, and that she is capable of reflection and growth.
It's just so different when no remorse is being shown. Truly.
I respectfully ask that you take these qualities into account when you make your decision. Thank you for your time and consideration. Respectfully, Ron Ellis.
Oh my God, Rain. Rain, please, Your Honor, she suffers from chronic diarrhea. Oh God. It's either fake tears or real diarrhea. Fake tears are a better choice for the well-being of others.
And then a brief letter from Marion and Tim Schaffman. She writes, "We have known Donna for over 50 years, and although we live far apart and have seen her often over the years, we wanted to share with you our impressions of the lovely person we have known. Donna has always been a loving, kind mother and wife, and also an exemplary daughter to her parents, who often stayed with their family. We have never heard her utter a negative word about anyone and had tremendous pride in every member of her family. She retained many friends from her childhood and developed long, satisfying friendships with the new people she met throughout each stage of her life. Donna was always intelligent, charismatic, and sensitive to everyone. She always listened to anyone's problems and offered a helping hand when she could. Most notably, her genuine concern over our and others' health issues was truly appreciated. As you can see, it is very difficult for us to view her as anybody other than a sweet, caring person we knew. Sincerely, Marianne and Ted Schaffman." Next is a letter from Jeff.
You ever see people, how nice they are, you know, when they get what they want, and then the moment you're dealing with them, like in customer service, for example, and you tell them, oh, actually, ooh, it seems like that dress is outside of the return window by 90 days. And then they suddenly just turn on you. But then they turn back to being nice when you call the manager, and the manager is a fucking piece of shit, and then gives the customer what they want, and the customer goes back to being really nice. It's kind of like that, you know. You're nice to the people that you love, the people that are your friends with, your family members. However, if someone crosses you, or if someone is in your way, or if you're in a dick measuring competition, like I think she was in her head with Dan Markel, I think she fucking lost it.
Jessica Ussery. Dear Judge Everett, my name is Jessica Ussery, and I am writing this letter to express my personal experiences and knowledge of Donna Adelson's character. Donna and I share a beloved...
I'm sorry, I said dick measuring contest. I was trying to pick a better phrase, but I was thinking like when she was basically like accused of writing the illegal shit, and then she kept losing over and over again, her and Wendy versus Dan Markel. I think, you know, that really went to her ego. That's what I was trying to say.
Beloved grandson, Roman Harvey Adelson, born in 2017. My first memory of Donna is a video made and shared on Mother's Day 2017. Charlie Adelson surprised his mom with the news that he and my daughter Brianna were expecting a baby. It warmed my heart to watch Donna's genuine excitement and happiness caught on video. Our families began spending time together as events and celebrations took place. I recall Donna being warm and welcoming. As I got to know her more, there was no doubt in my mind that she was a loving and devoted wife, mother, and grandmother. Roman's birth was a scheduled cesarean section on December the 5th. On that day, I was overcome with mixed emotions of excitement and fear. A family awaited Roman's birth at the hospital during unnerving procedure. Donna was affectionate and compassionate, as I was visibly anxious and emotional. I will always remember how she reassured and calmed me that day. We shared tears of joy and the hugs when a beautiful and healthy boy came into this world. Donna was caring and supportive of Bree as a new mom. I have many fond memories of time spent with the Adelsons. Although Charlie and Bree were no longer a couple beyond Roman's first year, we all remained close. Donna has been kind, thoughtful, loving, and generous. Thank you sincerely for taking the time to read the letter, Jessica Ussery. And then a short letter to whom it may concern. I've worked at Adelson Institute for Aesthetic and Implant Dentistry from October 3rd, 2011 to September of 2022. During my time of working there, I had the opportunity to experience the beautiful person that Donna Adelson is. Through my time of working often side by side with her, I've witnessed her grace and ability to diffuse upset patients. She is incredible with having compassion for others, and
well, yeah, she didn't want that negative Yelp review.
She is truly one of the sweetest people I know. She's so supportive and understanding when it comes to her employees. When an elderly person comes in as a patient, she always made sure they had assistance, whether needing help filling out forms or even opening the reception door for them. She always jumped at the opportunity to be kind and helpful. I witnessed this and I know it was sincere. I still use what I've learned from her and apply it while I'm at work every day. I recognize the gravity of the situation and understand the seriousness of the legal process, but I respectfully ask that you consider the positive qualities that define her. Sincerely, Erica Johnson.
It's like that really sad case. We didn't cover the trial, but we watched the sentencing, I think, or maybe the verdict, maybe both. But do you remember the guy that was the man that was convicted of essentially building a fucking box prison for his adopted son and literally like torturing him in there? Would keep him in there, wouldn't even have a bathroom installed or anything like that. It was just like a bucket. And would control if the lights were turned on and off, the doors were locked from the outside, and I forgot what else there was. But finally, he was caught, and he had his trial. There were still people that came out that spoke out for him, like saying like, oh, but he was such a good man, you know, he like went to our church. Like, I can't imagine him being like, he was probably just like, you know, like there's just no way, like, you know, basically like supporting this guy who was like a fucking child abuser. And it's not just like smacking your kid in the head. It's not just like, you know, yelling at them, right? It's hiring someone to build this fucking prison in your fucking garage or whatever it was. And then you still say that person was a good person and that, oh, you know, outside of like the home life, they were so great at, I think it was at church or something. Like, oh my fucking God. So crazy.
And then the last letter that we submitted from was Attorney Gary Cohn. He said,
yeah, it's like, oh, she helped the patients fill out the forms. Yeah, that was her job. Oh, she gave such great customer service. Oh, she smiled at them. Yeah, that was part of her job. She owns the practice. Of course you want to have good customer service, you know?
My name is Gary Cohen. I've been a member in good standing at the Florida Bar since 1980. I have known Donna and Harvey Adelson as personal friends and personal counsel for almost 40 years. Harvey was also my dentist for most of those years. I have been in the Adelson house, and they have been in mine numerous times over the years since their children were little ones. My wife and I have socialized with Harvey and Donna at dinners, blessed events such as bar and bat mitzvahs, and weddings, birthdays, and many other occasions. I've also traveled with them, including a wonderful trip to Africa with two of my sons several years ago. I therefore have had a unique opportunity to observe Donna under many circumstances.
Yeah, his sentencing was a joke because the judge also was like, oh, hey, you know, I have the military background too, and I know how people in the military, like, I don't know. He was basically trying to just vibe with this guy, saying that, like, you know, oftentimes when you're in the military or something, you have like a very strict schedule and you're like have a very strict discipline. I'm like, dude, it wasn't like he was forcing his son to go to sleep at a certain time and wake up at a certain time and do chores and all that stuff. It was like he built a fucking prison box. That just steps over the line. Yeah. I forgot. I think, did he get 5 years? It was like something silly like that. Yeah, 5 years. And the wife, I don't know what happened to her. Did she ever have her trial?
In all the time I have known her, I have literally never heard Donna raise her voice, lose her temper, act inappropriately, or treat anyone with less than full respect, and almost always with a smile on her face. I have never heard a bad word said about Donna from any other friend or person in my presence. She has always been an amazing mother to her children, and she and Harvey have had the most loving marriage that can be imagined. While I cannot comment on any of the facts of this case or any of the alleged events, I can say that the Donna I know is the last person I would ever think of when it comes to what has been this utterly horrible crime, dealing with the death of Dan Markell. Being a trial lawyer for 45 years, I fully believe in the jury system and understand that a jury has spoken. However, the woman I've known so well for so long also needs to be understood as the wonderful wife, mother, grandmother, and friend that she has been known to me.
Okay,
I hope that this information can be of use to the court when it comes to the sentencing of Donna.
I can respect that portion of that letter where she was like, hey, like, you know, this is the person that I know. I'm just letting you know, like, what my experiences with her. But, you know, the jury has spoken. So I think it's the people that are saying that, like, oh, you know, like, there's no way she could have done this. Or, like, she's a loving mother. Or, like, she's, like, a loving whatever the fuck she is, you know. It's like, look what she did to tear her family apart. Her family is, like, in shambles right now. The Adelson family in Florida, the name is, like, in ruins.
At this time, I believe that Mrs. Adelson's husband, Harvey Adelson, would like to address the court.
Very well.
Oh, Harvey's coming up. Okay. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis wrote letters for Danny Masterson after he was convicted for 2. Yeah. Did they not believe that he did it? Or were they like, hey, I do believe that he did it. I respect the jury's decision. However, this is the Danny that we knew, and we just want to, you know, show our support of that. I heard about that. I think I might have read it, but I didn't follow the Danny Masterson trial. All right. Harvey's coming up to speak. See what he says.
Do you wish to enter these letters into evidence?
Yes, Judge.
Does the state have any objection?
No, Your Honor.
They will be
I mean, maybe Harvey was like, Donna, I don't know if I should speak, man. I don't think I should. And Donna's like, you better fucking speak for me.
composite defense 1 for Sons.
I'm just kidding.
Thank you, Judge.
Dr. Adelson, please raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes, I do.
You can lower your hand. You may speak.
Thank you, Judge, and respected officers of the court for allowing me to speak. I have been Donna Adelson's husband for over 50 years. My wife sacrificed everything so that she could pour her heart and soul into our children, our grandchildren.
She did sacrifice everything. She sacrificed her life. She sacrificed Charlie's life. She sacrificed Dan Markel's life. That's true. That's very true.
For over 50 years. My wife sacrificed everything so that she could pour her heart and soul into our children, our grandchildren, and our marriage. This summer was our 54th wedding anniversary, and I had to spend it without her, hand in mind. She has done nothing wrong, and yet is being punished for a crime that she did not commit. I thought we lived in a different kind of world, but I guess I was wrong. I have listened, watched, and sat.
No, you lived in a world where for 10 years, your wife got away with it. Charlie got away with it for like 8 years. While the Markels were grieving for their son. Yeah, I'm sorry you didn't get to spend the summer with her this year. She fucked up.
Sat in the courtroom for the entire. I thought we lived in a different kind of world, but I guess I was wrong. I have listened, watched, and sat in the courtroom for the entire trial, and I could not help but scream in my mind by the witnesses that were brought forward by the prosecution who told outright lies. I didn't.
How do you think we felt when your friends testified? I think people were screaming more than anything.
Know that you could lie in a courtroom, but apparently you can. Danny's parents contend that they have never seen their grandchild. But for years they say they've never seen her. But Wendy has shared with me pictures and videos and letters from their visits.
Oh man, you're gonna go after the Markels now? Oh, dude, Harvey. Oh, Harvey. Just as bad as Donna.
They have suffered immensely at the loss of their son, but they also contend to tell lies to the court about our grandchildren. Donna has always been a loving and caring wife and is innocent of the charges. A bias.
When he was saying that I didn't know that you can lie in the courtroom, I was thinking maybe like just other witnesses that the state's called, but I think he was mostly directing that as at the Markels. Wow. Classy.
Wife and is innocent of the charges. A biased judge and jury were influenced by years of one-sided news pieces and social media.
Doctor, Ms. Fulford, this has nothing to do with the character of the defendant or relates to sentencing.
May I just one moment, please?
Ma'am, did you not read his letter before he came up here and spoke? Did y'all not proofread it? This is so bad. I thought he was gonna go up there and just like give like a lovely statement about how he's been married to Donna for so long. They have a lovely family together. They built their lives together. You know, I don't know anything about Harvey. We never really heard about Harvey, right? I've never really seen him talk. But yeah, I guess Harvey is just an asshole as Donna is. No surprise there. I thought he was just kind of just like the chill guy who Donna was just like kind of bossing around. But no, he's probably the asshole too. Holy shit, Jackie, what is going on here?
Go ahead.
Yeah, not very smart, right, Natural? I do not think you should slam the judge for the sentence given. Biased judge, jury has been influenced. Sir, I know you think it's already over and that Donna's already facing life in prison, but let's chill out a little bit here, okay? Let's calm it down a bit. These people are just... they're shameless. Jackie's like, oh boy, oh dear. Oh dear. It's a lot here. I can't wait until Judge Everett speaks. All right, Jackie's striking some things out, I think.
Just 1 second.
Jackie's like, Zelman, help me out here. should we leave this unhinged statement or should we let it fly? Oh man. You know what, Donna? You don't need to speak today. Save yourself for the appeals. You say you're innocent. Don't say anything today. Harvey's given us more than enough. I don't think I can handle 2 Adelsons speaking today. Oh gosh. Jackie. All right, Jackie's coming back. All right, Jackie's like, nah, you can't say this.
Donna did not participate in the heinous acts that she was convicted of doing.
What about Charlie?
You're sending an innocent woman to prison. You have taken my wife and you have taken my life as well. And for what? This is not justice. It is vengeance, and it is wrong.
You have an examination for Dr. Adelson.
No, Your Honor. No, Judge.
Any other witness statements?
You have taken my wife. You. Listen, a lot of us here, we all do think that, a lot of us do think that Harvey was informed about some of the stuff that was happening. Now, whether or not he was like in on it and it was just Harvey and it was just Charlie and Donna and then Harvey was in on it, after the wiretap shit was happening. Whew. Harvey, come on. You knew some sketchy shit was happening.
That you wish to give.
I don't believe so. Just 1 second.
That is crazy. Such brazen assholes.
Judge, but Mrs. Adelson has decided she would like to make an unsworn statement to the court.
Are you fucking serious?
Yes, Judge.
All of the witnesses will be sworn this afternoon if she wishes to speak.
I already said I can't handle 2 Adelsons. Harvey was already enough.
In the case confirms that the defendant has the right to make an unsworn statement prior to sentencing. The court, Rule 3.720B.
So they don't want to swear her in? Okay. Is it because she's going to be lying? Is that why? What?
States the court shall entertain submissions of evidence by the parties that are relevant to the sentence. A number of cases, Your Honor, that have interpreted this, especially in a capital case, as the defendant having a right to make an unsworn statement. This is a capital
Please give the citation.
It's basically going up there and saying, I promise to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, whatever the fuck it is, right? The whole spiel. So they basically are saying that, actually, we don't want Donna to do that. She doesn't need us to make a sworn statement. Okay. It just looks really bad and it's really weird, but...
Yes, Your Honor. Excuse me. First is Smith v. State, 268, Southern 3rd, 831. It's from the first TCA in 2019. You want me to continue, Your Honor?
Give me 1 moment.
Yes, sir.
Bringing up my Westwell. Give the citation again.
Sure. It's 268 Southern 3rd, 831.
So an unsworn statement is a chance for the defendant to provide information to the judge about their life, the crime, and the circumstances to help inform a fair punishment. But does that mean that she doesn't have to be sworn in? That's how I interpret it as. Oops. All right, he's fumbling through the papers. I'm gonna forward through this.
Which pinpoint site are you referring to in the case?
Not, let's see.
I guess would that mean that they can't use it against her? Just in case if she were to say something, that the state would be like, oh, actually, hold on a second. We're going to use this against you in your appeal.
Your Honor, I'm going to give you this one. So Hill versus State, 246, Southern 3rd, 392. It's from the 4th District Court of Appeal.
One moment.
Yes, sir.
246 on the third with the last part.
392.
Well, seeing in the case where it does state the defendant has a right to make an unsworn statement, we will proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Like Mrs. Ableton at the lectern or here?
She can remain at counsel table.
All right, he's going to let her. He's going to let her do it.
Thank you. I'm going to move the microphone.
Did I miss the end of Harvey's, or was the judge cutting him off at the end? He did speak like maybe like 1 or 2 sentences at the end. We'll go back and listen to Harvey's later.
I need to speak loudly because this is not amplified.
Okay. Is this loud enough, Judge?
I can hear you.
Thank you for letting me speak. My son-in-law, Dan Markell, was a fine and decent man. He was well educated and passionate about his career. He was a good son-in-law, but more importantly, he was a caring and loving father. On July 18th, 2014, his car was followed, leaving his home. It should have been just like any other day, an ordinary day in the life of Ben and Lincoln's father, but it wasn't. He didn't know when he left his boys off at daycare that would be the last time he would see them, and the last time they would see him. He didn't know when he went to the gym afterwards that would be the last time he would exercise. And he didn't know when he drove home that his life would end within minutes. Danny wasn't just being followed, he was being hunted. He was brutally murdered in broad daylight, sitting in his car, in his garage, by vicious killers. I cannot imagine the terror he felt.
This is why her close friends believe her. Because if you're sitting down in a one-on-one environment with Donna, dude, like I said, I think she ends up being a really compelling person. Remember when she was testifying, I was like, ooh, she's actually pretty good. But the evidence is against you, Donna, so we know you're bullshitting.
When he saw a gun pointed at him through the window of his car, I cannot conceive of his heroic efforts to stay alive during the hours after the attack. Danny died in the early morning hours of July 19th. His death is a loss to his children, his parents,
I don't understand how she can be so emotional and impacted by what happened to Dan Markell 11 years later, when months after or a year or two after, she didn't give a fuck. Remember, her son testified and he was like, yeah, she didn't really care who did it. She said it didn't concern her. Donna. She's a good actress.
his sister, all of us in his family, his friends, his colleagues in the legal community, and to his students at FSU Law School. Danny's boys each have a photo of themselves with their Abba, their dad, beside their beds. They grew up kissing the framed photo and saying, "Good night, Abba, I love you."
Why did you guys change your last names then?
The pictures and memories are all they have because cruel, cold-hearted people took him from all of us who loved him.
Oh, I forgot. They changed the last names to protect the children, so they wouldn't be identified as Markel's. However, you did end up finding out who did it, right? Katie and the two dudes, and you guys allowed Wendy and the two children to live closer to the hitman. This is such bullshit.
My heart was broken when Danny died. My grandsons were going to grow up without the father who loved them.
That's what you wanted.
I wondered, how could we help these boys through this trauma? It was then that my husband and I knew that the best way to honor Danny's memory would be to share with these children an abundance of love. The love that Danny would have given them if he were alive. It is interesting how the state can't make up its mind about who is what they call the, quote, mastermind behind this murder. In both of Catherine Magbanowa's trials, the state claimed she was the mastermind behind Danny's murder.
As more evidence comes to light, theories can evolve.
On Charlie Adelson's trial, they claimed he was the mastermind. And now in my trial, they claimed that this grandma, was the mastermind behind
his poor grandma. Yes, because they found more evidence that you were involved, Donna. You had the planners, you had a lot of shit on your phone. Oh gosh.
the murder. I had no idea that other people planned to cut Danny's life short. And the people who did this are exactly where they deserve to be.
And you.
But I had no knowledge that this horrible, evil act was going to take place. If I had become aware of this plan before Danny was murdered, I would have stopped it. With not one iota of actual evidence, the state convinced a Tallahassee jury that I solicited and conspired with other people to have Danny killed. Where is the evidence prior to the murder? The evidence beyond a reasonable doubt that the state needed to prove their case.
They had it.
Where is the evidence before July 18th, 2014 at 10:50 in the morning?
Before you continue, Mrs. Adelson.
Yes, please. Thank you so much, Judge. Cut these people off.
As it relates to this statement, is the defense trying to re-argue the trial?
No, Judge, just giving Adelson an opportunity to be heard.
No, she is. She is. Oh, Jackie.
Mrs. Adelson, you certainly can continue. However, the court can take into consideration the utter lack of remorse that you are displaying. Please proceed if you desire to do so.
Thank you. She's so pissed. She's so pissed.
Where is the evidence before July 18th, 2014?
She's already shooken up and she's like, fuck, I have to continue my script because I don't know how else to show remorse.
At 10:50 a.m. that revealed that I had any involvement in this vile and horrific act. Where is the solicitation and conspiracy evidence? The state needed to show that there was evidence before the murder to convict me. The state couldn't show that because there wasn't any evidence. They were trying an innocent person. It makes you wonder if the jurors were sleeping when the state had Sergeant Corbett on the stand for hours. Their own star witness testified that my phone was never, I repeat, never at my son's house on the night of the murder. The state's theory...
But what about you texting, I'm outside your house? Was that just like a butt text, I guess?
That my husband and I dropped off money to my son was blown out of the water by their own witness. And
no, not quite. There's nuances in that.
Yet, the state continued to push that story, that lie of the so-called money drop to the jury through the remainder of the trial.
They don't have the GPS coordinates. All they could go off was like the cell phone towers that they were pinging nearby. So if it was like, if they had like the car navigation shit, maybe it would show that Donna was outside of Charlie's house, but they didn't have that detailed information. They relied on the cell phone tower pings.
And the jury bought into it, hook, line, and sinker.
Ooh, blame the jury now. Let's go.
Reasonable doubt. Many months ago, my attorneys filed a motion for a change of venue.
Yep, she wanted to go to
An
Miami.
expert witness testified that Tallahassee had been barraged with over 9 years of negative social media, printed news, television news, and podcast publicity about my family.
I think her expert testimony was really good until Georgia cross-examined him. Georgia did a really good job at kind of destroying your witness. This is all pretrial stuff, by the way.
He explained to the court, both with evidence and demonstratives, that for me to receive a fair trial, it needed to be held in any of the researched and designated areas in the state of Florida other than Tallahassee. All I wanted was a level playing field, but the court wanted the trial here in the hotbed of Tallahassee. I sat through 3 days of jury selection. 180 potential jurors were asked if they had developed an opinion in my case. Those that answered yes also added, I believe she is guilty. Not one person, not one, said, I think she may be innocent.
I don't know. I wonder why.
That should have been a clue to the court to grant our motion for a change of venue.
They excluded those people. Oh, gosh.
But the court denied the motion. One of my jurors admitted during jury selection that she had background information concerning what one of the state's witnesses would be testifying about.
I think they excluded her, too.
Why was she allowed to be on my jury?
What moment?
They excluded her. When they found out that there's one jury that was like actually following true crime stuff or something like that. And then they thought that like she was doing something with like social media. I don't know. They like kicked her out like pretty quickly.
Another juror.
Mrs. Fulford,
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Mr. Zellman. Again,
Did you not read your client's letter or statement before she read this out loud? What's going on here?
this has nothing to do with elocution of any sort. This is a raising of grievances which are properly given to the appellate court. What does any of this have to do with sentencing?
Grab just one moment, please.
Yeah, these pieces of shits are always the same. Lori Vallow, sorry, Billy was mentioning Lori Vallow, Sarah Boone. They're all the same. They're all the same pieces of shit. Lori Vallow came in, blamed the judge, pretended to be, or she was sick, and then she was like really playing it up, and then she was like blaming the court system. She was blaming the jail. She was blaming the state. Same thing. These people, like, they do awful, horrible, terrible things. And when they're expected to take accountability for the shit, they just point their fingers at other people. They do everything they can to worm their way out of it, to make everyone look like the bad guy. And that they are the victims here. They were the ones that were targeted. It's always the same shit. Sorry, I think it's been, I feel like I haven't cursed this much in a stream in a while. I'm a little aggravated. All right, Jackie's reading it over.
Turn that phone off or step out.
Whose phone is that? Honestly, I thought today's sentencing was going to be like a very, like, nothing crazy happens. This has been a pretty crazy sentencing so far. All right, I'm going to forward through this. I know. I'm like, whose phone went off in the courtroom?
Please.
What happened to Danny is unforgivable.
Oh, okay. She's back.
Please.
What happened to Danny is unforgivable. But I am an innocent woman convicted of this terrible crime without evidence. Danny was a brilliant legal scholar. He would have been appalled at the total lack of justice that went on during my trial. He would have been embarrassed to have his name associated with any of it. There are two crimes here. The first was Danny being viciously murdered. The second one is taking my life, the life of an innocent woman. Convicting me should not be retribution for Danny's death. That is not justice for Dan. I've always respected the law. I've never gotten a parking ticket, but I'm going to prison for a murder I did not commit.
Oh, the good old, oh, I've never done anything bad before. Or been caught of.
I do intend to file an appeal so that hopefully I have the opportunity to be given a fair trial outside of Tallahassee. 11 years ago, Danny was murdered and taken from all of us who loved him. For the past 9.5 years, the state has broadcast to the world, including Danny's parents and sister, that I hired hitmen to kill him. Never in a million years would I have wanted Danny to be harmed or killed, nor could I ever do something that would leave these two small boys to grow up without him. I love these boys more than life itself. This is a lifetime of loss for these children. They didn't deserve this. His family didn't deserve this. Danny didn't deserve this. And so, as I appear before you today, Your Honor, I promise you with my whole heart, I swear to you on my life, I was not involved in any way with Danny's murder. I was not.
Sorry, Donna, you can't manipulate us. You might be able to manipulate the people that are close to you because you have that relationship built with them, but not us.
Defense have any further argument to make?
Yes, Judge.
She had 10 years of freedom. Probably bad diarrhea, though, because she was probably really stressed about it. But, you know, this sentencing has done nothing more but just made people more angry and pissed and probably detest Donna and Harvey even more and her friends.
Judge, before Ms. Fulford makes the argument, I want to address a comment that the court made a few moments ago concerning considering lack of remorse in fashioning a sentence. In Shepherd v. State 227 Southern 3rd, 746, the First District Court of Appeal held that lack of remorse cannot be considered in fashioning an appropriate sentence. If this were a situation where remorse and admission of guilt may be grounds for mitigation, the lack of these factors cannot be used to increase the defendant's sentence, and such reliance violates the defendant's due process rights. And they also rely on Ritter v. State 885 Southern 2nd 413, also a first DCA case.
Ooh, Zellman, are you on top of it today?
885 Southern 2nd 413, also a first DCA case.
I believe the Supreme Court has ruled on this issue concerning remorse and lack of showing remorse as well.
Or maybe
if you
not.
need me to find the citation for you, I will.
Yes, please.
We'll take a 10-minute break.
So the judge cuts off Donna in the middle for going after the... What was in the middle of? She was it was like the jury selection stuff, jury selection process. So judge cuts her off and was like, hey, you know, you do know that I can also consider your utter lack of remorse. You know that, right? Are you sure you want to continue? And she's like, fuck, I already had the skip written out. I'm just going to keep on continuing. And so at the end, Zellman was like, oh, actually, hold on. There's this case law here saying that you cannot consider her utter lack of remorse. And the judge is like, well, actually, the Supreme Court has ruled on it and you can. So we'll see what happens. The judge is going to take a 10-minute break. I'm going to use the restroom really quick and then we'll come back and we'll listen to, I guess we'll listen to Harvey and Donna speak again. I'm going to listen to it without interrupting. How about that? Let's do that. Actually, are we 10 minutes behind? Because we might just be caught up by the time. Yeah, hold on. No, I think we're good. It's a good thing we're behind. Let's watch the rest of it, and then we'll rewatch Harvey and Donna's unhinged statements. Oh boy. Hey, Subliminal, how are you doing today?
We'll resume at 4:16.
All right, so they take a little mini break and they come back. Okay, here it is. We get to do a little time jump here.
Gentlemen, were you able to review Davis?
Briefly, Your Honor, Davis was not a capital case. This is a capital case. Although the criminal punishment code can only apply to non-capital cases, I would already submit to Your Honor that it is distinguishable under the circumstances.
Going to read from Head Note 8 and 9. Nor was Davis forced to choose between allocution and maintenance of his innocence. He certainly could have allocuted without voicing his disagreement with the verdict, blaming the driver, the police, his lawyer, the trial court for his conviction, and attempting to explain his personal interpretations of the law to the judge. He could have asked for leniency without admitting guilt. He could have provided the judge with reasons to impose a sentence less than the maximum besides his claimed innocence. But he instead chose to make a lengthy statement claiming innocence, denying responsibility, and placing blame for his conviction on the alleged misconduct of others. The trial court was under no obligation to ignore such statements and did not err in considering those statements and imposing the legal sentence here. Do you have anything that distinguishes Davis in any way?
As I said, Your Honor, Davis was not a capital case.
Very well. Any other argument or evidence the defense wishes to present?
Yes, Judge, thank you.
Please move forward.
Your Honor.
It's kind of like what Donna did here, right? He said that Davis chose to make a lengthy statement claiming innocence, placing blame of misconduct on others. But Zellman's argument is that it's not the same because Davis was not a capital case. Judge is like,
We're aware that in count one, the court has no choice but to sentence Mrs. Adelson to life for the first-degree murder charge. We are going to request a downward departure as to counts 2 and counts 3, the solicitation and the conspiracy counts.
What are the grounds?
Pardon me?
What are the grounds?
Yes. The grounds are, one is non-statutory, and that's disparity in the treatment between co-defendants. And the second reason is statutory, and it is Florida Statute 921.00262B. The defendant was an accomplice to the offense and was a relatively minor participant in the criminal conduct.
The evidence in support of sub B would be the trial record, or do you have something more specific?
For 4B, we're going to rely on the trial record with respect to the conduct of Mrs. Adelson, and we would ask the court to take judicial notice Your Honor did preside over Charlie Adelson's trial, and the evidence regarding the other co-defendants' activities or participation was also brought out in the testimony in the trial of Mrs. Adelson, so we'd rely on that record, Judge.
Ms. Kappelman, as to the argued grounds for statutory mitigation and also non-statutory mitigation, does the state have any argument to make?
No, Your Honor.
You may continue.
Thank you, Judge. I'll start with the disparity. Do you need case law citations for this, or you're aware of it, Judge? Okay. The first case would be Sanders v. State, 510 Southern 2nd, 296. This is a Florida Supreme Court case from 1987.
One moment. 510 Southern 2nd. What was the other part of the citation?
I have copies, Your Honor.
296, and that's Florida Supreme Court.
So they're asking for a downward departure for counts 2 and 3. What was she getting again for counts 2 and 3? Let me see if I can find it in my notes. Does anyone know off the top of their head? If not, it's okay.
In 1987.
Go ahead.
State versus Fernandez, 927 Southern 2nd, 939, which is a third DCA case from 2006.
Yeah, approach, Your Honor.
You may.
And then the third case.
Wasn't it just like life and life? It wasn't like 50 years or anything, right? It was just like life and life, wasn't it? But not mandatory.
State, I can't pronounce it, but State versus Kunkemoller, 333 Southern 3rd, 335. That's a first DCA case from 2022, but it is distinguishable because.
Ooh, they just boosted the audio. That was loud. Give me a second.
It does not address the issue of culpability as the first two cases do, but I wanted to bring that to your attention.
Wasn't it conspiracy and solicitation? Weren't they life, but not mandatory life, right? Did I not write that? Oh God, it's in my notes somewhere. I just don't know where. Dude, Harvey was so pissed. Hey, Indo. Oh, I'm gonna forward through this. She looks like she's waiting for her order at Starbucks. Hey, XX, how are you doing today?
I'll start with the disparity argument, if I may, Your Honor. In this case, there have been several co-defendants who have either been tried or entered pleas and received sentences. I want to, for this particular argument, relate exclusively to Luis Rivera. He testified in the trial, and through himself and other witnesses, Your Honor has heard what he did in this case. And what he did in this case compared to what the state has alleged and the jury found that Mrs. Adelson did, the culpability levels are very different. Mr. Rivera was allowed to enter a plea to second-degree murder. And although, as the PSI indicates, he received a sentence of 19 years in the Department of Corrections, that was run concurrent with a sentence he was already serving in a completely unrelated matter in a federal case where he got a 12-year sentence. So the number of years that he will actually serve for his participation in the homicide of Dan Markell is 7 years in the state of Florida Department of Corrections. His conduct, as Your Honor can recall, is that he traveled to Tallahassee sometime in June and scoped out the home of Danny Markel, engaged in some drug activity with Sigfredo Garcia, and then returned to South Florida. A few weeks later, he returned to Tallahassee and again scoped out Danny Markel's house. But he didn't just do that. Prior to arriving in Tallahassee, with himself knowing that he and Sigfredo Garcia were going to kill Danny Markel, he purchased and provided the very firearm that was used to kill Danny. He came to Tallahassee and they sat in wait outside his home. They followed him, with Mr. Rivera being the driver, followed him while he took his 2 little boys to daycare, and he sat and watched as Mr. Markel, hand in hand, took those children inside the daycare. He then followed Mr. Markel all the way to the gym, sitting in wait. What was he waiting for? He knew what he was waiting for. Mr. Markel did not. He had no clue that these men were outside in a car just waiting for him to go to a place where they could shoot and kill him. And they waited until he exercised. They watched him get back into his vehicle, and then, like hunters, traveled and followed all of this time period straight to his home. And there was no hesitation. He knew exactly what they were going to do. Without any hesitation, they pulled right in behind Danny. Danny's car was still running. The garage door was up. And Sigfredo Garcia exits the car and shoots Danny Markel, having done nothing to these men, in the head twice.
This is similar to how she was performing in the trial. I felt like she was like, it sounded more like prosecution arguments. Like she was very passionate about what happened to Dan Markel.
How Mr. Markel survived, I don't know. But then Luis Rivera is the getaway driver. They flee the scene, they flee Tallahassee, and then Mr. Rivera stops to allow Sigfredo Garcia to dispose of the murder weapon, which has never been found. And then he drives back to South Florida like nothing has happened, purchasing motorcycles and cars, but most importantly, getting paid for the work that he's just done.
Just like Donna lived 10 years, afterwards, acting like everything was all good.
The payment came from Catherine Mangbanwa, and I'll address her in the next segment.
Living free.
The point here is, Judge, that over time, reading different things, you've heard a lot of arguments about what Mrs. Adelson's participation allegedly was. But when it comes down to it, and I didn't mention, but Luis Rivera did have an extensive criminal history at the time that he committed this offense. What actually came out at trial with respect to Mrs. Adelson, and I'm saying this, understanding, as you've learned, that Mrs. Adelson still maintains that she is innocent of this conduct. But what the state was able to show through their testimony and evidence was that the role that she played, according to them in the prosecution, was very minimal. The evidence showed that she was very upset when relocation was denied in 2013, not knowing that her daughter had agreed to it, not knowing that until she sat here in trial hearing her daughter's testimony. She wrote some very ugly emails. She said some very ugly things.
Like I said, I don't believe that because she was there at the hearing, and you're telling me that Wendy, an attorney, and then Wendy's attorney didn't tell Donna what happened and that Wendy had stipulated to it?
But in not one of those emails did it ever say that she wished harm upon Danny Markel. And this was in 2013.
Because she was smart enough not to do that, I guess.
The evidence was presented by the state that was over a year later that Danny was killed after relocation had been denied. Although they argued that there was continued hostility on the part of Mrs. Adelson regarding the issue of relocation.
What does this have to do with the sentencing? So the count 1, murder in the first degree, that's already life mandatory. However, she's arguing for counts 2 and 3 for a downward departure. So apparently the judge has discretion on the sentencing on that. And she's basically arguing that Donna's participation, the solicitation and the, what's the other word? The C word. What's the other word? Solicitation and there's the other fucking word. That Donna's participation of it was not as much as the others, like the hitman and Katie. So she started with the hitman right now, then she's going to go with Katie, and then maybe she'll throw Charlie and Whitney under the bus again?
With the hundreds of thousands of emails they had, they didn't present evidence that this ongoing...
Conspiracy in the solicitation. Right?
...was being brought up in any way between the parties. The relocation between them, that issue had stopped. The testimony that was elicited was that Charlie Adelson, the son of Mrs. Adelson, was the one who was close with Mrs.
Oh, there we go. There's Charlie.
Adelson, and that when she had a problem, the argument from the state was, when she had a problem, Charlie was the problem solver. And the testimony at court that was presented by the state supported that theory, that Charlie was the problem solver. They further elicited testimony that without any knowledge of what the phone calls were, Catherine Mangbanwa testified that when she was with Charlie Adelson discussing scenarios, which she didn't describe what scenarios she was discussing, that on occasion there would be a phone call between Charlie and his mother. She didn't hear the mother speaking. In fact, he left the room when he talked to, allegedly, the mother, and he came back in. He never relayed to her any information about the phone call. But the state's theory and the evidence that they presented was because Donna Adelson had been so upset about the fact that relocation was denied, and she continued to be upset, according to the testimony, that Charlie Adelson took it upon himself to reach out to someone, which was his girlfriend, and have her get someone that she knew who could commit this murder, make contact with them. According to the testimony in the state, in this case, Charlie Adelson told Katie, Catherine McBanowa, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, it's just as the names were reused, but Mrs. McBanowa, that she wanted him killed and he would pay for that to happen. Her testimony was she had no idea what the payment was going to be, but she did in fact reach out to her, the father of her children, Sigfredo Garcia, and he agreed to commit the homicide. Mr. Garcia then elicited Luis Rivera to participate with him in the homicide, and I'm not going to go through all the evidence in the case. I want to focus on what Mrs. Adelson allegedly did. Up until the point of the homicide, the only evidence that was presented about Mrs. Adelson's participation were those ugly emails. And there's a distinction, as we discussed during the trial and sometimes even at sidebar, of the evidence being up to the moment that Mr. Markel was killed. Up to that time, the only evidence introduced by the state in this trial for that time period were those ugly emails, and they were ugly. She called them very foul names. She said some ugly language. She clearly was not happy. And whatever conversations may have taken place while Catherine McBanowa was inside Charlie Adelson's home and Charlie was outside talking to another person. Mrs. Adelson maintains her innocence. But if you're looking at this particular cause of this disparity in treatment, the state is asking that Mrs. Adelson be sentenced to, obviously, life on count 1 as she has to be, followed by 30 years in the Department of Corrections on counts 2 and 3. This is far in excess of the sentence that was received by the man who himself testified to hunting down Danny Markel, providing the gun for him to be murdered with, leaving the scene of the crime, disposing of the murder weapon, and going on with his life in his gang as he always had. In that disparity, Judge, it just doesn't reconcile with the facts here of what they say Mrs. Adelson did. Although there was a theme that she was the mastermind, I would argue to the court that the evidence did not show she was the mastermind in any way. The masterminds that were shown in this trial were Charles Adelson and Catherine McBanowa. It didn't show any activity prior to Mr. Markel being killed where Mrs. Adelson was involved in any way.
Take away what you're arguing as the theme for the moment. The chief difference between Luis Rivera and your client is he entered into a plea, correct?
That's correct. He did enter into a plea, but that, according to the case law, that can be considered.
And he has also cooperated with the state, testifying in many trials.
He was a cooperating witness testifying in these trials. Mrs. Adelson not only has maintained her innocence, she was never offered anything from the state.
Please continue.
Yeah. On the statutory basis,
but you see, all those other people, except for Charlie, everyone has said that, yeah, we were a part of this. We did it. Everyone except the Adelsons, except for Charlie, except for Donna. They're still claiming their innocence.
That the defendant was an accomplice to the offense and a relatively minor participant in the criminal conduct. Some of what I've just argued applies to this one as well, Your Honor. But what I wanted to point out here were the ones that we didn't discuss. So Sigfredo Garcia was found guilty at trial, first-degree murder and conspiracy. His sentence was life on the homicide and an additional 30 years consecutive for the conspiracy count. He is the one who rode in the car. He is the one who obtained Luis Garcia to go with him. He is the one who sat in the seat knowing he was going to exit the car while they hunted down Danny Markel. And he's the one who got out and shot Danny Markel in cold blood. Left like nothing had ever happened. Along the way, made many stops, including getting out to hide the murder weapon, and then went on with his life. The killer is getting the same sentence that the lesser participant, the state is suggesting, get as well. Life in prison on count 1, followed by 30 years for the conspiracy and solicitation. Luis Rivera, I've already told you what his role was. Catherine McBanowa got the information from Charlie Adelson according to the evidence, and at his request, obtained someone, Sigfredo Garcia, to do the killing. She is the one who coordinated between Charlie Adelson and Sigfredo Garcia and Luis Rivera. Although she testified that she didn't know Luis Rivera was involved until after it was over, the evidence that the state submitted clearly contradicts that. She was communicating with Luis Rivera before, closely to the homicide.
No, I remember when I was doing research about this case, and I forgot. I think it could have been during trial or maybe during pretrial stuff, where I read that even though the person didn't actually shoot the gun, just being involved in the conspiracy, involved in hiring someone, you're still as culpable as the person who shot the gun, or you could be.
And then shortly thereafter, she's the one that spoke to him. She was sentenced on the first-degree murder to life in prison, and on the solicitation and conspiracy, she was sentenced to an additional 30 years. It was run consecutive. Again, the same sentence that they're asking for on Mrs. Adelson is the sentence that this woman who heard the request for a homicide.
So she can only get like life in prison without parole, right? Or is there possibly a parole? For Donna, no, it's just life in prison for the first charge. However, I think the reason why they are still arguing for counts 2 and 3 for downward departure is because, let's say they take it to appeal and maybe they are able to successfully appeal the count 1 conviction. Then maybe Donna has a chance, but she's old. I don't know. Maybe she has a chance of some sort if they were able to argue counts 2 and 3 down to whatever it is. But like I said, Donna, she's like, what, in her 70s, right? It's looking pretty rough for Donna.
Found the person to commit the homicide, stayed in communication with both of the individuals who were responsible for killing Danny Markel.
That's my understanding of it.
Followed up with them and provided payment to them, and then took payment back from them for her to keep for herself. She was also paid in this. She participated, knew it was happening. They had proof that she knew it was happening. That was submitted to the court. All of that evidence clearly distinguishable from the conduct that they presented in evidence about what Donna Adelson did. Charlie Adelson, according to the testimony in this trial and his own, Charlie Adelson wanted Danny Markel dead. So on his close or very first date with Catherine Magbanawah, he asks her out in public at Halloween, some Halloween function, hey, do you know anybody who could get somebody killed? According to her testimony, she followed through with that. With Charlie Adelson, never with Donna Adelson, never communicated with her in any way about this. She worked then, if that's what happened and that's what's been testified to, she worked with Charlie Adelson from October of 2000.
Ew, damp Donna. Why does it sound so nasty? I think of like those like damp, moldy, towels. Damp Donna. Oh, God.
13 until Danny Markel was brutally killed in July of 2014. That entire period. And there's evidence, she admitted to most of it, to her conduct, and there's evidence that was presented in this trial and Charlie's that that's what happened. They made this plan, and that his stapled money was used to pay the killers in this case some $130,000 in cash that was divided up amongst Sigfredo Garcia. Sorry, my mouth is getting dry. Excuse me.
Go ahead.
Girl, get us some water. Why does Donna look so annoyed at Jackie right now? Look at
Thank you, Judge. It was divided up between Sigfredo Garcia, Catherine Magbanawah, and Luis Rivera. She then stayed in contact with Charlie Adelson. She convinced Charlie Adelson to get paychecks written to her, and she received those paychecks each time from Charlie Adelson. So for what Catherine Magbanawah did and what Charlie Adelson did, the evidence in this case shows it went far beyond what the state's evidence showed that Donna did, up to and including the time that Danny was killed. So again, if you're going to rate the level of culpability in this case and consider Mrs. Adelson's conduct as compared to those, they're asking that she get the same sentence as both of the people who killed, well, one person that did the killing, Sigfredo, a far more extensive sentence than Luis Rivera, who participated in the killing himself and only got 7 years.
Donna looking at Jackie the same way Amber looked at her attorney.
The same as Catherine Magbanawah, that apparently worked on this according to the evidence for many, many months and stayed involved even after that. Charlie Adelson is the only one who got a higher sentence. His sentence was life on count 1, the homicide, followed by 30 years on count 2 and another 30 years on count 3, so everything being run consecutively. The evidence that the state has presented is that Charlie Adelson is the one who masterminded this. That's what they've shown. Even though they said Catherine Magbanawah wasn't her trial, if there's somebody who started this, according to the evidence, it's Charlie Adelson, not Donna Adelson. All the work being done was Charlie Adelson. All the money that was paid was Charlie Adelson's money. Mrs. Adelson, according to the state's evidence, did not do any of that. Again, they had hundreds of thousands of dollars, or hundreds of thousands of emails. Never one in all of those emails that we all had to go through did Mrs. Adelson ever suggest any harm to Danny Markel in any way. I understand the verdict, and she has a right to take an appeal, and that's what she'll do. But the evidence in what was argued is very far different in theory than what was actually presented to this jury. And I'm requesting that Your Honor, in determining a sentence on counts 2 and 3, take into consideration that the amount of activity that everyone engaged in this case was far, far beyond what was alleged against Mrs. Adelson. They just didn't come up with the proof for that. They did prove to a jury that she was involved, but that proof and the actual evidence was very limited to the conduct that they say that she engaged in that resulted in Mr. Markel's death. I do want to remark, if I may, just briefly on the issue of remorse. Mrs. Adelson maintains her innocence, and as she has a lawful right to do, will seek an appeal. She may not get another trial. There may or may not be parts of the finding of the jury that is reversed, may not. They can do that on, the appellate court can do that on 1, 2, or 3 counts. There are lots of options that the appellate court has.
Donna's not going to adjust the prison. The noise, lights always on, the nonstop fights, arguing over anything and everything. I know this from being a sheriff deputy decades ago. I hate working CJ. Oh, correct. CJ? Correctional? What's CJ?
The reason I say that is this.
The smell is enough from keeping you eating? Yeah, look at Koberger's complaints about prison. And he was only, in prison for, a month or 2? He was already complaining about how much it smelled, it's loud, the harassment.
Mrs. Adelson, maintaining her innocence, could not have shown more remorse for the killing of Danny Markel. And in her statement, although some of it I know was bothersome to the court, in her statement, I hope you heard.
I wouldn't say bothersome to the court.
Okay.
Please continue.
Okay. I misread them. I apologize based on your
Continue.
comments. One of the things she said in her statement, after most
Oh, county jail. Thanks.
of her statement being about the horrible thing that happened to Danny Markel, was that the people who were responsible for it were in prison. That's a pretty big statement considering what the state believes Mrs. Adelson's position is with respect to the others who've been prosecuted, convicted, and are serving sentences in the Florida Department of Corrections. I also want to say this. The defense's position in this case, from start to finish, has always been, on behalf of Mrs. Adelson, beyond respectful to the victim in this case, Danny Markel. He should not be lost in this case, and I said that in my opening statement. We presented evidence about a wonderful man he was. He did not deserve for this to happen. The Markels gave their statements at the conclusion of the verdict that was issued by the jury, and I listened to every single word. And every single word that they said
Was a lie. Are you going to say that too, Jackie? Are you going to take the Harvey route? I wonder, the defense attorneys, I feel like they had to be cringing when Harvey and Donna spoke. Like, oh, God, please, no. Oh, okay. They've done it. Oh, well. Can't help it now. It's too late.
Single word. And every single word that they said came out of the terrible grief from the loss of their son and the feelings that they have developed over the course of this 11 years in prosecuting these various people and additional information that has been given to them. Every word they had every right to say.
I mean, Harvey said it was lies, though, Jackie. I don't know, man. Harvey looking at you right now with some daggers. Oh, also, don't forget to like the stream. Just kidding. I was liking the law and crime trial stream, but obviously you're not on their stream. You're on my stream. Just kidding. I take it back.
The feelings that they had are exactly what they should have.
But you
what
can like my
happened
stream
to Danny
too.
Markel, as Donna Adelson has said in her statement, could not have been more horrific. He was treated like an animal, completely unaware that there was any kind of problem, that he would have any kind of physical altercation with anybody. I'm positive the furthest thing from his mind that day was that someone was going to kill him in his garage at his home. He did not deserve what he got. It's been very clear in the prior prosecutions and what was presented in Mrs. Adelson's trial about the conduct of these other individuals. They do deserve to be where they are. They do. Their conduct is unimaginable to me, that human beings would engage in that kind of conduct to bring a man, an innocent man. Their conduct is, they do deserve to be where they are. Of these other individuals, they do deserve to be where they are. They do.
So does your client.
Their conduct is unimaginable to me, that human beings would engage in that kind of conduct to bring a man, an innocent man, a well-respected man, an amazing father, to take him away from his mother, his father, his sister, most importantly, his children. That was horrific. I understand why those sentences were imposed. Not for Mr. Rivera, but for the ones that were tried and convicted. In this case, Judge, based on the evidence that was presented, The defense is going to ask on counts 2 and 3 that you sentence Mrs. Adelson to 3 years in the Florida Department of Corrections, counts 2 and 3 to run concurrently. My understanding in the court, the clerk can tell me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is Mrs. Adelson has 701 days credit time served. That's what we calculated.
I'll stipulate to 701.
So run concurrently rather than consecutively?
Very well.
Anything more on counts 2 and 3, Judge, first of all, in order for it to assist Mrs. Adelson, she's going to have to be successful on count 1 on appeal.
Right.
If she is, anything more than that period of time is going to basically be a death sentence for Mrs. Adelson. She is.
Right. Okay. This is what I was saying earlier. That count 1 is life mandatory, but maybe they're banking on count 1 being appealed somehow. And the reason why they're arguing for this downward departure of counts 2 and 3 is because, well, you know, if count 1 is gone, then maybe she has a chance. But she is old, so what kind of chance will she have? Let's see what Jackie says.
Successful on count 1 on appeal. If she is, anything more than that period of time is going to basically be a death sentence for Mrs. Adelson. She is soon to be 76 years old. Her health has gotten worse while incarcerated, as anyone would probably expect. Her husband is 81 years old. Compared, 3 years compared to the man who participated in the killing getting 7 years, I believe is a just and reasonable sentence for Mrs. Adelson. We are also going to ask your...
She's talking about the guy that got the plea deal. He got a plea deal. Yes, Donna wasn't offered a plea deal. Now we learned that today. And it's because, you know, they had that all that evidence against her. They didn't need it. They didn't need it. They probably felt really confident in convicting her.
And reasonable sentence for Mrs. Adelson. We are also going to ask, Your Honor, after imposing sentence, I know it's nothing but a recommendation, but we would ask if you make a recommendation to the Florida Department of Corrections. That
sorry, I'm going to go back. Sorry, just a little bit.
3 years compared to the man, as anyone would probably expect. Her husband is 81 years old. Compared, 3 years compared to the man who participated in the killing getting 7 years, I believe is a just and reasonable sentence for Mrs.
So she's asking for 3 years. Is that what she's saying? The 3 years for the counts 2 and 3? Okay, not going to happen.
Adelson. We are also going to ask, Your Honor, after imposing sentence, I know it's nothing but a recommendation, but we would ask if you make a recommendation to the Florida Department of Corrections that Mrs. Adelson be placed as close to Miami as possible where her husband resides so that she can have visitation. I understand we don't have any control over Department of Corrections, but we would appreciate that recommendation. And may I have just 1 moment, please?
No, let her stay in Tallahassee. I'm sorry. No remorse for any of these people. No fucking remorse whatsoever. It would be a different day of sentencing if it was Donna saying that she did it, she's sorry, and her friends went up there and gave their statement saying that, hey, you know, Donna's life was really hard and she acted the way she did because of X, Y, and Z, and that's why she was triggered, that's why she did this, blah, 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 blah. And then Harvey went up there saying the same thing. But no, that didn't happen. It was just Donna's an amazing mother, an amazing person to her family. She's super dedicated. Donna didn't do anything wrong. She's innocent. You know, they're just no remorse whatsoever from these people. So we should not give them any sort of consideration of just like leniency.
Judge, I would ask that Ms. Adelson not be housed with Ms. McDaniel, or at least have a separation, if you could recommend that. And Ms. McDaniel is currently at Lowell CI.
Oh yeah, don't let her be with Katie. Katie might try to fight her.
Yes, Judge, I thank you for that, Ms. Kaufman. I wanted to raise that issue because we did check into that. Judge, I contacted the Florida Department of Corrections. They did indicate that
Hauser with Sarah Boone. That would be hilarious.
they would be able to keep them separate, but that doesn't necessarily mean that folks who are familiar with and friendly with Mrs. McDaniel wouldn't be where Mrs. Adelson would be. So we are concerned about that, about her being placed at that facility. I didn't know it before, but the reception center for the women actually keep inmates there. So that, I know that's a possibility, but again, that's in Ocala, and we're respectfully requesting that she be placed closer to Miami. Thank you.
Marco, hey Storm.
Before you review the last case, the defense has presented for downward departure. Ms. Kappelman, you had something else?
No, Your Honor, I don't.
Review the cases for downward departure, or in support of downward departure, the defense has argued.
Yeah, let her stay up in Tallahassee. Make Harvey, because you know you can tell they hate Tallahassee. Make Harvey live in Tallahassee, or maybe Harvey will move on and just continue staying in Miami. Dude, Donna looks so like Letitia, I don't know where she is. Put her in with the Boone. They can bond. They can bond of how they were both victims. And how the media, the judge, the jury, they're all out to get them. She looks disheveled. She just looks so annoyed. Yeah, that's where Boone is, right? Lowell. Maybe Harvey will start a podcast. My life married to Donna Adelson.
Having reviewed the cases presented by defense concerning the downward departure, also as well the argument that has been presented, the court has reviewed its notes of the trial and will rule on the issue of the downward departure at this point. Florida Supreme Court has a two-part test concerning whether a downward departure should be granted or could be granted by the trial court. The first is whether the trial court can impose a downward departure sentence based on a valid legal ground proven by a preponderance of the evidence. The second step is whether the trial court decides whether it should impose the downward departure based on the totality of circumstances. As to both the non-statutory grounds that have been argued and the grounds contained within section 921.0026, subsection 2, subsection B, in reviewing the trial court's notes, what has been argued by both the defense and also as well the court's relying on the record itself, court will find that there is a ground for non-statutory downward departure, but it declines to exercise its discretion. As to the statutory ground, I will find that both the defendant was an accomplice to the offense and a relative minor participant in the criminal conduct. We'll find that has not been proven, but in addition to, the court would still decline to exercise its discretion. As to the sentence in this matter, Ms. Adelson, please rise.
He's like, I could, but you know what? I'm not. Oh, please, give her an earful.
Level of planning and coordination to bring the murder of Professor Markell to fruition was significant in this case. These were not crimes of chance or opportunity, and these crimes also required you to conspire with your son and others. You certainly can choose to deny your involvement and maintain innocence. The court finds the evidence in this case is clear. You will be sentenced accordingly this afternoon. The jury has found you guilty on charges of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and solicitation to commit first-degree murder, and the court previously adjudicated you guilty as to
She was like shaking her head, like little micro shakes.
these same charges on September 4th of this year. On count 1 of the indictment for first-degree murder, you are hereby sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole or release pursuant to sections 782.04 and 775.082 sub 1 sub A Florida statutes. On count 2 of the indictment, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, You are hereby sentenced to 30 years in the Department of Corrections that will run consecutive to count 1. The court
30.
will also sentence you to 30 years in the Department of Corrections on count 3. Counts 2 and 3 are to run concurrent with each other, but consecutive to count 1. As to the fees and costs, the clerk can please announce those at this time.
$2,100 as a fine pursuant to section 775.083, $105 as the 5% surcharge required by section 938.04, $20 as a court cost pursuant to section 938.06, Crime Stopping Trust Fund, $3 as a court cost pursuant to section 938.01, subsection 1, Criminal Justice Trust Fund, $50 pursuant to section 938.03, Crimes Compensation Trust Fund, $225 pursuant to section 938.05.
She's in her 70s. Do y'all remember the lady that was at sentencing and she like fainted? But it looked really weird and sus, like a fake faint.
Local Government Criminal Justice Trust Fund, $2 as a court cost pursuant to section 938.15, County Criminal Justice.
This is the true face of a piece of shit person. No more shows, no more acting. This is her.
Education, $50 as a court cost pursuant to section 775.083, subsection 2, County Crime Prevention, $65 as a court cost pursuant to section 939.185, County Additional Court Costs, and $3 as a court cost pursuant to section 938.19, Team Court Assessments.
Is there any lawful objection by the defense to these assessments?
No, Your Honor.
They will be assessed at this time. The cost of prosecution, the court will reserve jurisdiction on to determine for 60 days. If a hearing needs to take place concerning this matter, that will take place at a future time. As the defense's request for the court to make a recommendation to the Department of Corrections to place Mrs. Adelson in a facility near Miami-Dade County, I have no problem making this recommendation. The Department of Corrections will have the final say because this is an administrative matter. I will also recommend to the department that Mrs. Adelson is not to be placed in any unit or facility that would also house Catherine McVanawa. The court did previously award to the state, based on the September 17th, 2024 continuance of the trial, costs that were related to that.
She doesn't deserve it, but that was really nice of him to put in a recommendation to have her transferred back to Miami-Dade.
Ms. Kappelman, part of what you're seeking to pursue, is that included within that, or is that a separate number?
Are you speaking of the costs that were ordered in Charlie Adelson's trial?
No. The day Daniel Rashbaum withdrew from the case and the trial had to be continued.
Okay.
All costs related to moving witnesses and other matters.
Yes, sir. I don't know the answer to that, but I'll make sure that they're only in there once.
Very well. The defendant is to be fingerprinted, 30 days to appeal. Please file the appeal promptly.
Your Honor, may I approach the clerk? We have put I have written on the letters that I had, so we put a composite together, and I've shown it to Mrs. Kaufman, who has no objection there.
Life plus 60 years? I thought it was life plus 30. Because life, and then counts 2 and 3, they're consecutive to count 1. However, 2 and 3 are concurrent with each other.
Please place the sticker on them so that way they can be admitted.
No objection.
We are in recess.
I don't know. We'll see about Wendy. We will see. No, I don't think Harvey would be next. Dude, if they had something on Harvey, that would be great, you know? Because after what Harvey said today, fuck Harvey. Donna's doing her fingerprinting right now. All right, after Donna leaves the courtroom, we'll listen to Harvey again, uninterrupted. And we'll listen to Donna again, uninterrupted. I typically try to listen uninterrupted during the statements, the important statements, and I'll go back and listen to it again with my interruptions. But I just had to interrupt. I'm sorry. It was just it was hard for me not to. Yeah, quite honestly, I was a little surprised that the judge was going to rate that letter of recommendation. But he's like, yeah, why not? He met with Charlie in the restaurant. Harvey wrote some of those emails. Because I feel like for sure Harvey knew what was going on after the drop happened. Or not the drop. Is it the drop? No, I'm getting mixed up. The bump, sorry. The bump. After the bump happened. But his participation before all that, I wasn't sure if it was just Donna just doing it and not telling Harvey about it. But then when shit was going down, then she had to tell Harvey and keep him up to date about it. Bye, Donna. Crazy. What a very unhinged sentencing. Oh my goodness. I just saw one of the witnesses. That's Harvey right there talking to Mr. Zellman. Probably just giving him a heads up about like the next steps. What's gonna happen. Were there any evidence suggesting Harvey knew, at least after the fact? For me, it was just him participating with the conversations with his family, you know, the huddle ups, getting together. But Harvey was never really on any of the wiretap conversations. Maybe like in the background, maybe Donna was saying like, oh, dad says this, dad says that. But that's about it. And the emails, you know, he could have wrote some of the emails, but I think it was mostly Donna. Oh boy. Crazy day of sentencing of Donna Adelson. All right, so just a little recap. Donna Adelson had some friends that spoke out in support of her. They believe that she's innocent. They believe that she's a great mother, that she had nothing to do with this, and that judge was biased, the jury was influenced, and she should never have been tried in Tallahassee. So each person had their own different versions of that, and Harvey spoke, Donna spoke. It was very fucking unhinged. But for count one, she was already facing life as a mandatory sentence, life with no parole in Florida. Counts 2 and 3, the defense tried to argue for a downward departure. And I don't know, Jackie said it kind of quickly. I don't know, Jackie was asking for 3 years because she said, well, one of the hitmen got 7 years. And because of Donna's participation, you know, it was way less than the hitman. She didn't pull the trigger. Give her 3 years. I think that's what she was arguing. The judge obviously was like, no. We're not doing that. So for, again, count 1, life with no parole. The defense is hoping that that might get appealed. And then for counts 2 and 3, she ended up getting 30 consecutive to count 1. However, counts 2 and 3 could be concurrent to each other. So it sounds like life plus 30 to me. That's what it sounds like. All right, let's go back to Harvey. And then we'll listen to Donna. And that's it. Oh, boy.
Yes, I do.
You can lower your hand. You may speak.
Thank you, Judge, and respected officers of the court for allowing me to speak. I have been Donna Adelson's husband for over 50 years. My wife sacrificed everything so that she could pour her heart and soul into our children, our grandchildren, and our marriage. This summer was our 54th wedding anniversary, and I had to spend it without her, hand in mine. She has done nothing wrong, and yet is being punished for a crime that she did not commit. I thought we lived in a different kind of world, but I guess I was wrong. I have listened, watched, and sat in the courtroom for the entire trial, and I could not help but scream in my mind by the witnesses that were brought forward by the prosecution who told outright lies. I didn't know that you could lie in a courtroom, but apparently you can.
Wait, what about Charlie? Charlie lied in his testimony. Okay, that's it. That's the only interruption you hear from me.
Danny's parents contend that they have never seen their grandchild. But for years they say they've never seen her. but Wendy has shared with me pictures and videos and letters from their visits. They have suffered immensely at the loss of their son, but they also contend to tell lies to the court about our grandchildren. Donna has always been a loving and caring wife and is innocent of the charges. A biased judge and jury were influenced by years of one-sided news pieces and social media.
Dr. Ms. Fulford, this has nothing to do with the character of the defendant or relates to the sentencing.
All right, so Jackie goes over it, and this looks like it's a couple pages long, and I think Jackie axes most of it out, it seems. All right.
Thank you for letting me continue. Donna did not participate in the heinous acts that she was convicted of doing. You are sending an innocent woman to prison. You have taken my wife, and you have taken my life as well. And for what? This is not justice. It is vengeance, and it is wrong.
You have an
You. It's all your guys' fault, not Donna's fault.
examination for Dr. Adelson.
No, Your Honor. No, Judge.
Any other witness statements that you wish to give?
I don't believe so, just one second.
You would think you'd be smart enough not to do that, but, you know, they probably think it's already over anyways. Who cares? Let me get my licks in.
Is this loud enough, Judge?
I can hear you.
Thank you for letting me speak. My son-in-law, Dan Markell, was a fine and decent man. He was well educated and passionate about his career. He was a good son-in-law, but more importantly, he was a caring and loving father. On July 18th, 2014, his car was followed, leaving his home. It should have been just like any other day, an ordinary day in the life of Ben and Lincoln's father, but it wasn't. He didn't know when he left his boys off at daycare that would be the last time he would see them, and the last time they would see him. He didn't know when he went to the gym afterwards that would be the last time he would exercise. And he didn't know when he drove home that his life would end within minutes. Danny wasn't just being followed, he was being hunted. He was brutally murdered in broad daylight, sitting in his car, in his garage, by vicious killers. I cannot imagine the terror he felt when he saw a gun pointed at him through the window of his car. I cannot conceive of his heroic efforts to stay alive during the hours after the attack. Danny died in the early morning hours of July 19th. His death is a loss to his children, his parents, his sister, all of us in his family, his friends, his colleagues in the legal community, and to his students at FSU Law School. Danny's boys each have a photo of themselves with their Abba, their dad, beside their beds. They grew up kissing the framed photo and saying, "Good night, Abba, I love you." The pictures and memories are all they have because cruel, cold-hearted people took him from all of us who loved him. My heart was broken when Danny died. My grandsons were going to grow up without the father who loved them. I wondered, how could we help these boys through this trauma? It was then that...
Oh, Kathy Russin tweeted that it was Harvey Adelson's phone that went off. Oh, no. Out of all people. You think you would silence your phone at your wife's sentencing?
My husband and I knew that the best way to honor Danny's memory would be to share with these children and abundance of love, the love that Danny would have given them if he were alive. It is interesting how the state can't make up its mind about who is what they call the, quote, mastermind behind this murder. In both of Catherine Magbanaw's trials, the state claimed she was the mastermind behind Danny's murder. In my son Charlie Adelson's trial, they claimed he was the mastermind. And now in my trial, they claimed that I, this grandma, was the mastermind behind the murder. I had no idea that other people planned to cut Danny's life short. And the people who did this are exactly where they deserve to be. But I had no knowledge that this horrible, evil act was going to take place. If I had become aware of this plan before Danny was murdered, I would have stopped it. With not one iota of actual evidence, the state convinced a Tallahassee jury that I solicited and conspired with other people to have Danny killed. Where is the evidence prior to the murder? The evidence beyond a reasonable doubt that the state needed to prove their case. Where is...
I feel like Georgia is just like casually just like checking her emails, you know, doing work right now while Donna's talking. She's just like, we haven't really heard too much from Georgia today, unfortunately. We love Georgia. Good thing for Georgia. She got to catch up on her emails today.
Is the evidence before July 18th, 2014 at 10:50 in the morning?
Before you continue, Mrs. Adelson, as it relates to this statement, is the defense trying to re-argue the trial?
No, Judge, just giving Mrs. Adelson an opportunity to be heard.
Mrs. Adelson, you certainly can continue. However, the court can take into consideration the utter lack of remorse that you are displaying. Please proceed if you desire to do so.
Where is the evidence before July 18th, 2014 at 10:50 a.m. that revealed that I had any involvement in this vile and horrific act? Where is the solicitation and conspiracy evidence? The state needed to show that there was evidence before the murder to convict me. The state couldn't show that because there wasn't any evidence. They were trying an innocent person. It makes you wonder if the jurors were sleeping when the state had Sergeant Corbett on the stand for hours. Their own star witness testified that my phone was never, I repeat, never at my son's house on the night of the murder. The state's theory that my husband and I dropped off money to my...
I actually missed it the first time, her accusing the jurors of sleeping.
My son was blown out of the water by their own witness. And yet, the state continued to push that story, that lie of the so-called money drop to the jury through the remainder of the trial. And the jury bought into it, hook, line, and sinker. Reasonable doubt. Many months ago, my attorneys filed a motion for a change of venue. An expert witness testified that Tallahassee had been barraged with over 9 years of negative social media, printed news, television news, and podcast publicity about my family. He explained to the court, both with evidence and demonstratives, that for me to receive a fair trial, it needed to be held in any of the researched and designated areas in the state of Florida other than Tallahassee. All I wanted was a level playing field, but the court wanted the trial here in the hotbed of Tallahassee. I sat through 3 days.
George is preparing Wendy's indictment.
Of jury selection. 180 potential jurors were asked if they had developed an opinion in my case. Those that answered yes also added, I believe she is guilty. Not one person, not one, said, I think she may be innocent. That should have been a clue to the court to grant our motion for a change of venue, but the court denied the motion. One of my jurors admitted during jury selection that she had background information concerning what one of the state's witnesses would be testifying about. Why was she allowed to be on my jury?
What moment?
Another juror.
Mrs. Fulford,
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Mr. Zellman, again, this has nothing to do with elocution of any sort. This is
I feel like you did hear him, but okay.
a raising of grievances, which are properly given to the appellate court. What does any of this have to do with sentencing?
Greg, just one moment, please.
Look at the judge's face. And look at the... Is this the bailiff? The judge makes a face, and then I think the bailiff looks over the judge because he knows the judge is making a face.
Moment, please.
Of course she hates Tallahassee. Tallahassee also convicted her beloved son. Is this where the phone rings? I forgot when the phone rings. Does it ring during Harvey's statement?
Turn that phone off or step out.
Oh man, someone mentioned that oh, where was it? How Donna like really turns it on and off. I don't know where it went. I saw it somewhere. Yeah, she's really good at turning it on and off, but because it's so jarring, it comes across as very like artificial. I didn't see Harvey come back in. Someone said they saw Harvey coming back in. Right here? Did he already come back in? I didn't see it. Oh, maybe he did. Oh, is that him? Harvey. You dirty dog, you. Maybe that was a call from his like new girlfriend or something. When are you gonna be done with your ex-wife's sentencing? I'm just kidding.
Unforgivable.
All right, she's back.
What happened to Danny is unforgivable. But I am an innocent woman convicted of this terrible crime without evidence. Danny was a brilliant legal scholar. He would have been appalled at the total lack of justice that went on during my trial. He would have been embarrassed to have his name associated with any of it.
No, I think he's more appalled with all the bullshit that you've been peddling for years, you and your family, Wendy included.
There are two crimes here. The first was Danny being viciously murdered. The second one is taking my life, the life of an innocent woman. Convicting me should not be retribution for Danny's death. That is not justice for Dan. I've always respected the law. I've never gotten a parking ticket, but I'm going to prison for a murder I did not commit.
You've pointed your fingers at the judge, the jury, the prosecution. Really? You've always respected the law? You thought you were smart enough to get around it.
I do intend to file an appeal so that hopefully I have the opportunity to be given a fair trial outside of Tallahassee. 11 years ago, Danny was murdered and taken from all of us who loved him. For the past 9.5 years, the state has broadcast to the world, including Danny's parents and sister, that I hired hitmen to kill him. Never in a million years would I have wanted Danny to be harmed or killed, nor could I ever do something that would leave these two small boys to grow up without him. I love these boys more than life itself. This is a lifetime of loss for these children. They didn't deserve this. His family didn't deserve this. Danny didn't deserve this. And so, As I appear before you today, Your Honor, I promise you with my whole heart, I swear to you on my life, I was not involved in any way with Danny's murder. I was not.
Defense have any further argument to make?
Yep. Me. I was the victim. They're all the same. There's like nothing unique about Donna and Sarah Boone and Lori Vallow. You know, they're just like all the same. Nothing unique whatsoever. All right. Anyway, so that was it for the sentencing today. Donna got life plus 30 years for counts 2 and 3 that served concurrently. And we'll see what happens with her in appeals. We'll see what happens. Jackie really tried arguing. I'm still a little confused. I don't know if I heard it correctly, but it seems like she was arguing 3 years, but someone's mentioned 3 years or 3 for the 3 of them because they're consecutively or something like that. Or concurrently. I don't know. I was a little lost in Jackie's thing. All right, y'all. Well, that's it for the sentencing. Let's see if there's anything else, really. I think, oh, we have people coming out of the courtroom. Let's watch that. People coming out of the courtroom.
I didn't see her.
So y'all waiting on somebody?
I was going to George.
leave.
The other way.
They went out the back door, but yeah.
Oh, I think they're waiting for Georgia, but Georgia went out the back door, it seems.
If they haven't yet, they will go out the back door.
What about the defense attorney?
The defense attorney.
Oh, she's with Court TV, I think.
The store, so they're going to come out and go back to walk.
Where is the back door, though?
That's hilarious.
I guess that's why Sarah Dugan wasn't there. She didn't need to be there. Harvey said in the restaurant they are smarter than I thought.
The whole thing.
Am I going to afford it? All right, who's coming out? Defense team is coming out. If anyone is prone to motion sickness, just be careful watching this. It makes me a little bit dizzy. But Zellman's coming out right now. Jackie's coming out.
Not right now. We're going to issue a press release. Okay. Thanks.
All right, they're going to do a press release. I mean, it's probably just going to be the same bullshit, you know? My client didn't do it. Oh my goodness. Like, I can't believe that one of the hitmen's going to get out for this crime sooner than my client. Blah, 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 blah.
No, we will be issuing a press release. We'll try and get that out in the next 24 hours.
Can you not tell us anything about your thoughts on what just transpired?
Unfortunately, it was not unexpected.
Thank you.
So you knew that your client and her husband were going to be a little bit off the cuffs in sentencing?
Unless you want to, like, do Court TV. That's the only other people that's in the court.
Oh, everyone goes except for Court TV. Okay, I don't think anyone else really comes out. I guess people that were in the audience? Oh no, this is just the people that were waiting around. I think. Yeah. There's a guy that spoke for Donna. I think that's it. Oh, this is live right now. Okay. Is it? Oh, that's it? All right, that's it. That's it, y'all. That's it for Donna Adelson. We are done with Donna Adelson. We'll see what's going on with Corey Richins next. We did do a live stream covering Corey Richins about a week ago. So we'll see when the state decides to respond. The ball is in the state's court right now. Harvey reminds me of the crazy Grandpa Sawyer from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh, I gotta rewatch that for Halloween. I rewatched Autopsy of Jane Doe with what's his name again? He's like the dad from Succession. Oh, it was pretty good. All right, y'all. Well, that's it for today for Donna Adelson. We'll see what goes on. You know, if Donna Adelson has any chance for the appeal stuff, we'll keep up the tabs about it. But for this month, Brian Walsh was supposed to have his trial, but that's been, as far as I know, it's been delayed. I think they already did the mental health evaluation for him, but I don't know when the new trial date is. He's the one that was accused of murdering his wife, Anna Walsh, and it's considered a disappearance at the moment because they haven't found her body yet. And he's the one that had some very unfortunate Google searches. So I wrote about that in the community section on my YouTube channel. But I don't know. Maybe Courtney Clenny, the OnlyFans model, in December. And we'll see what happens today. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. It was thank you so much for watching me and watching this trial coverage for the live streams. I appreciate you guys. It was a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of effort. And other than that, guys, I hope you guys have a good one. Take care. All right. I'll see you guys. I don't know. Feel free to go join the Discord. We do have a true crime section, and that's about it. Man, what a completely unhinged day in sentencing today. I honestly thought it was just gonna be like a day of just like chillness and really not too much happening. But man, oh boy. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Take care, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.